he didn't like some people that were in the crowd.
And he
kicks them out of the crowd, stops the show, starts from zero again. And I thought that I saw the greatest comedian ever. I was like, what?
That is incredible.
Stopped the show, and there were like a few things. I went on this like rabbit hole with Tosh, and it's like I saw another thing happen. I saw him. He went on a radio. Remember back when we would do radio and like we would do bits.
Yeah.
They like tee you up for a bit, and it was the worst because like you don't know. It's like, do I pretend that this isn't a joke and do it, or do I just do it as a joke? This motherfucker did the joke as a joke, and murdered for 3 people. It is 3 people.
I saw that clip. I saw that clip. It is the most destructive radio you've ever seen in your fucking life. In your fucking life.
And then you can watch him do the joke on stage, and it's the same cadence, the same
He's so
rhythm.
good. That weekend in Miami, there was a guy up front that was being, that was heckling.
Yeah.
I was featuring, and I dealt with it. I kind of fucked around with it, and then tried to deal with it. And as I got off, he goes, "The fuck was that?" I said, "It's a guy up front." And he goes, "That won't be happening for me." And I said, "Really?" And so I go around, and he walks out on stage. He goes, "Show has not started. You need to leave, sir." He goes, "I will not go on until this guy's kicked out.
Fucking go.
Kick him out. Kick him out right now. Kick him out. Go. You're garbage. You're fucking garbage. I'll spend the whole time telling you how old your fucking chick looks. You're garbage. Get out." And then he said, I'll never forget it. He goes, and no one is laughing. No one's laughing. He's not famous. As he's walking the corner, he goes, "Sir, I hope you get fucking AIDS." And then he turns to the audience and he goes, "But the good AIDS, like Magic Johnson AIDS." And the place erupts. He goes, like opening Starbucks and underprivileged, and starts and murdered from top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom, and fucking.
He's a 0 to 100 guy, which is like, and it's something I've always aspired to do. Is like, I don't care how bad or good the last joke is, we got to go down to 0 and then get to the 100 by the end of the joke. And that's when the joke starts. It can be 0. There can be a fire. Someone can have a fist fight. Doesn't matter what is going on, where the set is, and it could hate him. And from the beginning of that joke to the end of the joke, they're at 100.
Yeah. Dude, so if we're breaking it apart, I couldn't do what Tosh or Dane or Nick Swardson did. I didn't have that ability. Or like you or Chappelle, that like, I only could get you to know me. And I saw guys like Freddie Soto. Do you remember Freddie Soto?
Was he?
He's passed. He was a Comedy Store comic. And he had a bit about his dad.
Yeah.
Irregardless.
He goes, irregardless.
Oh, Freddie. You can't help me, but I bet if you were chugging beers with your friends, it was so funny that I went, I feel like I know his dad. I feel like I know him. So I would introduce characters in my stand-up, like my buddy Hutch or my buddy Harper, and I'd tell you a little bit about them, like a real story. Like Hutch, one time we were playing Frisbee golf, and my Frisbee got stuck in the tree. I was throwing a stick at it, and Hutch goes, "Hey man, if I were you, I'd keep your mouth closed." I was like, "Huh?" He's like, when you look up, your mouth automatically opens. And I was like, "Oh, I didn't notice that." He goes, "Yeah, stick could go right down your throat. Happened to me twice." And I was like, "Huh?" So I'd introduce that character, and then I'd use him throughout stories, or I'd call back to him. Harper, good friend of mine, one time misspelled his name. Happer, 2 P's, no R. He goes, "Well, it happens." I go, No, it doesn't. No, it never. No, I've never been in a rush like catch you later, perf. Those were like my 2. I had a story about taking acid and going to Disneyland. And so I introduced those 2 characters, and then I could tell you a story. Still, my takes are off. Like when you talk about the financial crisis, I don't really know what's going on.
Neither do I.
Neither do we.
Like all I know
but I have such confidence that people believe I know what the fuck is going on.
Your generation knows. I was just saying this to Tim
I made
Dillon.
up a lie about TikTok that became the news. A complete lie. It was just a hunch. It's the news now.
That's
Like,
crazy.
like politicians talking about it. It's a crazy thing.
Yeah, your generation knows like Harambe and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein and like
What does that mean?
Giselle.
Harambe's. What is such a funny example?
What does Harambe have to do with Epstein?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know any of them.
I guess the kid died.
I don't know any
It's
of them.
just the news that has nothing to do with Bert, and he's like, I think it's a generational thing.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I think not thinking about me is a generational thing. These millennials.
Has anyone ever been like, "Hey, you want to see my
Pearl
pictures?"
Harbor can happen, and Bert would be like, we were going to Hawaii that week, weren't we?
That's so funny you say that. When you say Pearl Harbor, I immediately think of telling you a story about my experience of going to Pearl Harbor. That's how my brain works. Like, I immediately go, I went there with Russell Peters one time.
Yeah.
No, but
There's a Japanese guy talking about how his dad just fucking ran into an aircraft carrier in a plane, and you're like, yeah, but me and Russell went to Pearl Harbor once, and let me tell you.
We had a riot.
Your dad hit it.
No, yeah, I don't, like, when people go, hey, you want to take a look at my vacation pictures? And you're like, am I in any of them? And they're like, no. And I go, I don't fucking see about your vacation.
Okay, so So we're talking about this. This is what I think is like beautiful about comedy. It actually extends to just art in general. It's like we all have an idea of what we think like the best version of something is. And the more pinpoint your idea is, if it becomes popular, you're a genius. Okay?
Yeah.
So I want to use an example. Okay, so we have a friend of ours, right? He's a brilliant designer. His name is Calm, right? Kid Super is the company that he has. Brilliant guy. And his shit is so weird.
Sorry.
But all of a sudden, he was like the head male designer for Louis Vuitton, and he's just, but it's so weird and out there.
Yeah.
But he has to have unbelievable conviction to go, this is good, it should be on a shirt, it should be on sweatpants.
Yes.
And then when it becomes popular, he's a genius for believing so much in this thing that is so different than everything else, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like almost in comedy,
Yo.
you have to have unbelievable conviction for the type of comedy you love, right? So I loved, like in my mind, I was always like coming up, I'm like, okay, what I think the best comedy is taking something that is incredibly difficult to argue and making the argument for it. I don't know why I thought that, but I was drawn to these guys like Rock, and then I saw Patrice, and I was like, Patrice is doing this at the highest level. Nothing has been done like this, and it was this like great moment where I had this like kind of comedic North Star.
Okay.
You know?
I would argue
Go.
the best part of Patrice were his stories about him.
Well, so here's the thing. Story should be in everything. Everything, whether it's about you, whether it's about like with Dave Chappelle, he's like this magnificent storyteller as well.
Yeah.
Whether the story happened or not,
Yeah.
he tells it within story for a reason, right? It's
Yeah.
like just telling the joke, that's like on horseback. The story, you're on a fucking rocket ship.
I would say that story is sometimes the peanut butter, the joke is the pill inside it.
100%. So what I think is interesting is like you have this idea of what you think the best comedy is, and you should feel that way about story. I think people in general should feel that way about story. It's the most powerful. But like, so you go, I'm gonna do this type of comedy to the best of my ability. And I think what often happens in this business is like, since we're so swayed by like the validation of the audience, you see somebody doing something different, and a lot of people just go, well, maybe I should kind of do that. Maybe you're not the best at that. So what I think is really cool, what you've done is if you've gone, I like telling stories. When I'm around my friends, I tell stories. When I'm on podcasts, I tell stories. I'm really good at telling stories. And I can kind of fill these stories up with these like interesting characters, and I can build this life. And then at no point have you been like, oh, I guess I need to be Daniel Tosh, or I need to be this guy because these things are popular. It's rare as a comedian. Because usually we gravitate towards the things that are just like...
Yeah, I couldn't.
At what point did you stop paying attention to me when I was talking just right there?
At the very beginning, I'm being dead serious. At the very beginning, when you started saying it, I go, I'm not listening. I remember I actually said, I'm not listening, and I hope you use this as an example about me so I can understand what the fuck he's talking about.
Bring him back in.
Yeah, he tuned back in when he said what's great about him.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
No, Patrice, I would argue Patrice is
He suddenly had the peanut butter and the pill when you brought him up. Then he was like, I got the example.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break for a second because, listen, your essentials aren't fitting like they're essential. There's a reality right now that a lot of dudes will treat an undershirt like it's nothing, and you know what? It looks like nothing when you do that. You got to have those male essentials. Be gorgeous, be beautiful, because it's going to fit everything just perfectly if you do. And you know what? True Classics has got your back, okay? See, True Classics team designed t-shirts to make the fellas of all sizes out there feel confident in their clothing. They give you the wide shoulder and the tapered bottom look that we're all looking for. And the quality of the t-shirts is elite. I'm telling you, it's hard to find, especially for dudes, it's hard to find clothing that fits us, okay? And when we do, we lock on, and that's the only thing we buy. I mean, I remember that even as like a kid. I remember I found
loose shirt, Tommy. That's the way to go, bruh. That's the way to go.
Patrice, Tony.
Use the code FLAGRANT and start living that good hair life. Now let's get back to the show.
Patrice told a story one time. I don't know if you've ever heard it, about the cool guy in his neighborhood, Tony. Did you ever hear it?
Tony.
So it's beautiful because you know Patrice. And if you knew Patrice, you knew the vulnerability in Patrice. Patrice was raised by a single mother. I don't know how much. I don't want to get into details about Patrice.
He talks about the single mother thing and Mr. P.
Does he talk about his father?
I don't believe so.
I won't tell Patrice's stories. But what I'll tell you is Patrice didn't have a father figure to teach him how to be a man and be cool. He had this guy in this neighborhood called Tony. Yeah. And Tony was slick. He'd go up behind. I'm telling it as if I'm Patrice. Tony would go up behind a girl and tap him on the back of the neck and go, "Damn, you look good." Girl go, "Oh, Tony." So Patrice is like, "Yeah, I gotta smack a bitch. All right." So he goes, "I'm a little bit bigger than Tony. I just come up behind a bitch and just pow." Oh! And he had told these stories of Tony would grab girls and put them in front of the fire hydrant, and he's like, "All right." So he puts a girl in a half Nelson and holds her in the water. But those stories Patrice told, just me, I guess, or for me, I was crying laughing. Now, I love everything he did. But I loved to know about his life. Yeah. I loved it. And so, I don't know. I always that's what I always dug, hearing the stories. Like Geraldo.
Yeah.
Geraldo
was also like a joke guy. Like he could rifle off.
Geraldo arguably is one of the best joke writers ever. What I loved about Greg was when he would tell me stories about his partying. Yeah. And I go, "Do you not talk about that on stage?" He's like, eh. You know, when I started doing Rogan, because I was really trying to be like, you know what cops hate? When you touch their faces. And then I wasn't great at it, and I wasn't standing out. And when I started doing Rogan, I told the machine story. And then I came back one time. This is when he was doing it in the Ice House. And I said something. I wish I could remember what it was, but I said something. And Rogan goes, "Oh, hold on. We're getting another amazing Bert Kreischer story." And I went, "Oh." I was like, "Oh, shit." And you know, he's the one that got me to start telling the machine on stage. I was not telling it on stage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I told it on thing, and he goes, "You tell that on stage?" I said, "No, that's not like a..." It's the way Geraldo said, "That's not a stage story." Yeah. And he goes, "No, fuck that." And he goes, "From this point on, he is only to be referred to as the machine, and you are to chant that name out until he tells that story." And the whole place was chanting, "The machine." I go, "Guys, I'm not going to tell it." And a guy in the front row goes, "Hey, man, we know it's not going to be good, but you have to tell it. Rogan said you have to tell it. You have to tell it to make it good. And we'll fake laugh, right, guys?" And they're like, "Yeah, we'll fake laugh, Bert."
Son, that's beautiful. That makes me want to fucking cry. So what an audience member.
I told the machine story for a solid year with it bombing. I mean, bombing.
Oh, really?
Bombing. I mean, it's a fucking 15-minute story.
That's a long bomb, bro.
You have no idea.
A quarter of your set?
Dude, it's
You've only had to write 30 minutes for the last 10 years.
Dude, I would bomb with this fucking story, and then one night I figured out the end of the story. And that's the most important thing in storytelling, is if you have an end, then you know you can get the fuck out. Yeah. Right? And so I figured out the end of the machine story. And from that, and then it got good. And then it got really good. And then obviously it went viral. But that changed the direction of everything I started doing. Because I never thought I'd be talking about fucking kids. You don't understand.
Wait
that was
like the
dumbest.
Say that differently.
Say that. Run that sentence back.
Yeah.
Or just don't use
I'd
the same cuss word.
Fucking kid. Oh wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I never.
You don't
fucking wild. Yo, run that back.
Fucking dogs. No.
Wait a second. Whoa.
I never thought I'd be talking about my kids ever. I never thought that. I did not like that kind of comedy, and I did not like when comics did it. It depressed me. Yeah. But then I just started. Everything started becoming stories.
Why did it depress you?
I don't know. I wanted to be cool and young and famous.
Yeah.
I wanted to
like
be
that was an older
Dane
thing.
Cook. I wanted to be like that. That was our. He was like.
You were gravitating to what was working instead of doing what you do best.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the cool thing about podcasts is like it gets you more comfortable telling these stories. It definitely made me more comfortable sharing my life. I always shared my life with people, but it's great to do it in a place where like you're like, okay, I can work through these things and find the funny in these things, find the vulnerability in it.
Oh, that's interesting. You were always comfortable sharing, because my parents always told me, this is why I didn't tell stories for the longest, still not that comfortable. They told me, nobody needs to know what's going on in our lives. Nobody needs to know.
That's like an old saying.
That's for us. Whatever we're going through is for us. That's not for them.
Really?
My mom was like, people could use it against you, which is kind of crazy thinking, but I was just like, all right, so I didn't tell anybody anything.
There's like an old saying, like when a writer's born, the family dies. You ever heard that?
Oh, because you got to kill the family?
Basically.
And I think about that.
Thing,
like, shit I'll allude to on this podcast. Like, I want to bring it on stage, but if I do, my family's getting phone calls.
Bro, it's so funny. Mark and I literally talking about this yesterday, but like growing up, my folks had no, I mean, you know my folks. My folks had no like during my wife's vows, my dad, he's no short-term memory anymore. During my wife's vows to me, he interrupts her and goes, "Someone's getting lucky tonight." like my wife is mid-tears with her vow, and he just interrupts for a fuck joke in front of her and my family and all my friends. So it's just like no filter. My dad would joke around about like my mom and him not having enough sex or having sex. Like I've never had any filter, been able to tell them absolutely everything in my life. So I don't know how to do small talk. And when people do small talk, I get like uncomfortable. Really? To the point where like I just have to say something salacious so we can stop this fucking charade.
Yeah.
And then Mark, you were telling me that it was the opposite in your family. That what was the purpose? It was like
everything's nuanced, everything's like tongue-in-cheek, very Catholic upbringing. Everything that everyone said was always like couched in something else, but it was all indirect. So there's nothing head on. So then when people are super head on, I'm like, jeez, this guy's crazy.
We're head on with each other, but nobody needs to know that part.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's really interesting. So I guess you could say like it informs your comedy.
Yeah. Oh, we were very open. We were like, I know how to. It's interesting when you talk about like, I'm not good in like, I know how to make an entrance.
Yeah, we know.
I can make an entrance.
Yeah.
All the other shit I'm not good at.
You're like Australians.
Yeah.
Like Australians are fun for like 5 minutes. After that, you're like, I get why the English left them, bro. What the fuck?
My wife says I cast a large wake. Like
I get why the English left them.
I can get people to dislike me so easily. There's like a certain type of person that I drive up the fucking wall.
Like who?
Anyone who also wants the attention. They fucking hate me. They hate me because I don't leave a lot of room. I'm a bull in the china shop. I'm a lot. It's like people. I remember a professional athlete. I don't say his name. He's a cool dude. But I remember him saying he spent some time with me, and then he met Tom, and he goes, "How can you be friends with Bert?" It hurt my feelings. I've patched it up with this guy since. And Tom's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "How can you be around that for that long?" And Tom goes, "I don't need to be him." Tom is like the most confident in who he is guy in the world.
It's unbelievable.
He's a gangster.
As a comic, especially. Because you'd think that he would need all that energy, but it's so clear that he finds you fucking hysterical and absurd.
Yeah.
Like, it's really funny to, like, watch him look at you and be like, wow, he isn't noticing this.
Yeah.
That fucking Kool-Aid thing that happened when you were drinking 64 ounces of Kool-Aid a day.
I never thought that was odd. I never thought that was odd. I mean,
But after seeing Tom with his mom, it makes sense.
Yes.
I think he's been around these like really big characters his whole life.
Dad too.
Okay, so like that to me goes, okay, Bert is an extension of these big characters.
Yes.
And he knows how to be funny around them. So it kind of fits perfectly.
My dad's like Tom. My dad doesn't need to be the center of attention, doesn't need anyone to, but me and my dad laugh like me and Tom. Like me and my dad, there's a clip that went out of me trying to put a pizza in an oven.
And, I saw that clip. Very funny.
And everyone's like, I always thought Bert's laugh was fake. Yeah. And then they're like, oh, his dad and him have an identical laugh. We start laughing, and then we say the word that made us laugh in the first place over and over and over again. So like Tom, one time Tom said we should go to Jennifer Aniston's house, and he was like, should we bring our wives? And I go, should we bring our wives? He goes, no. I go, can she bring a dude? And he goes, yeah, for safety. And then he said, well, maybe that's not the message we want to be putting out. And I started laughing, and I kept going, for safety. Because I can visualize him saying it, and to repeat it. My dad, when I went to put the pizza in the oven, I couldn't get it off the thing, so I pulled it back out. My dad goes, it's not done yet. Like, he thought that I thought it was done. And I just kept going, it's not done yet. It's not done yet. Yeah, man, I just love it. I don't know how any of that informs my comedy, but I just love to fucking laugh.
Do you love Tom?
Yeah. So much so that I'd let him fuck me over.
Ooh, this is interesting. So that's how you define your love. So...
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
So you would let him fuck you over once, and you're like, you have so much goodwill built up He has so much goodwill built up with you that you could look past it.
So I'll tell you this. I'll tell you a true story. I don't know if Tom knows this. So I signed before. Now everyone's signing touring deals, but I was the first person to sign a touring deal.
Yeah.
Like 6 years
Let
ago.
him know.
4 years ago. It was considered foolish at that time. Like no one did it.
Yeah.
And I signed it. And I for an exact number. And I told Tom about it. And then and I wasn't supposed to tell anyone. But I told Tom, he's my best friend. I wanted to talk it through with him. And then all of a sudden it got out that this deal was. And so my team said, Tom told people. And I said, no, he didn't. And they said, he clearly did. And I said, he didn't. And it was a moment where I had to truly trust in my friendship. And then Leanne goes, what if he did? I go, honey, if he did, I don't care. I still love him. I go, I am forcing myself to believe the best in my friend. Even though evidence is showing me otherwise, I believe him because I love him and I know he wouldn't do it. And he didn't do it. Turns out he didn't. Who did it? Him. His fucking... everyone leaked it. They all wanted to brag that they were doing this thing, and then they wanted to blame someone. Yeah. And now everyone's signing fucking touring deals, and you're like, so.
The music industry is slowly infiltrating comedy.
Dude, this game's changed.
Yeah.
It's unrecognizable. I mean, we're sitting back there talking about lighting packages for arenas.
Yeah.
I mean, this game is. Yeah. I walk in here and I look at this and I go. I said it when I walked in. I said this.
Yeah.
Is what every comic will have one day. One day, everyone will have this, and this will be your business. Probably won't have a manager the way we know them as managers today.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll hire someone like a producer as a consultant. Yeah. It would be nice to have a consultant of like, say, fucking Mary Parent leaves Legendary, and you pay her a fucking $1 million a year as a consultant to look at your career and advise you on what projects to do. Yeah. You'll have a touring agent. You'll never lose agents, but I guarantee you agents gonna. I'll tell you what's gonna happen. Agents are going to team up and they're going to own their talent and they won't let their talent work with other people.
I think
that's already happening.
I think management companies changed drastically.
I think they're gone.
I think they're gone. And I think it's because management companies were built around profiting or monetizing their talent through TV and film. And now that comics like don't really have to do it. Like you did a movie, but you didn't have to. You probably lost money going to do a movie. I lost a great deal of money. Because you could have been touring and making crazy money. So
I make more money in one night than I made doing that movie in 3 months.
Right? So this is like a cool legacy thing to do. And it's like a fun project, and we should
I made a movie because I live in Hollywood, and if I didn't make a movie, I'd be like, why didn't I make a movie?
I remember you telling me when I did Birdcast, you wanted to make a movie, and you're making a movie just because you always set out to do it.
And it's great. It's great to do. I guess what I'm trying to say is like, the fact that we can make more money doing the thing that we love, and their whole business apparatus is built around turning us into actors, right? Mm-hmm. They're not running the tours. The tours are run by Live Nation, or they're run by Outback, or they're run by the agencies. So the management really doesn't play that much of a part in it. I think the new model will be something kind of like what we're doing is like where my boy Dove is singularly focused on building this and all of us and everything that's going, instead of 50 other clients that they're like, every once in a while you get a call and they're like, you should post some stand-up on Instagram. Can I have 10% of that?
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what I think the internet has done, I may have said this on this pod, but I think it just eliminated middlemen in every industry. Like before, when you wanted to book a flight, you called a travel agent. Yeah. And I got a travel agent I love, but that's because I book a lot of flights. For the most part, kayak.com. Yeah. And managers were kind of just middlemen. Hey, there's a barrier to getting you famous. I'm going to connect you with those guys.
I actually wonder if comics stop doing podcasts.
Ooh, I like this.
I think comics. I don't think a lot of.
I love an idea that doesn't make sense to me immediately. Yeah. Because I want to hear it.
Because I don't think a lot of comics want to do podcasts. I just think that they see what's successful and they're just replicating that thing so that they could have 100%. Success. And I don't think it's comics. I think it's musicians. I think it's
everybody. That's like the whole thing with the mixtape thing. You know what I mean?
So, I think once they see that people are having success by posting stand-up clips, they'll go, "Oh, I could just post stand-up clips. I don't have to do that other thing where like I talk to my
4 hours, right?
Yeah. Friend, like, because here's the
and
reality,
it seems like work because then you gotta be
nobody
on your
podcast.
podcast.
Podcasting that doesn't enjoy the people they're talking to.
Yeah,
you gotta like it. Like you gotta.
Big reason why I do this is because like I'm just chilling. I like to listen to these podcasts. You know what I mean? Like do my little daily thing. You know what I mean? I'm chilling today. Right now, I'm chilling. You know what I mean? So like, I like doing that shit. You know, I feel like I'm wasting my time if I'm not streaming, even to nobody. Like right now, I feel like I'm streaming to nobody right now, bro. You know what I mean? But I feel like I'm doing something, right? Because it's on record or whatever the fuck. There's gonna be a funny reaction out of this possibly. So yeah, dude, yeah.
To have an actual friend, like those things where they like connect a few people that don't really know each other,
get out and
they try to make it a pot, even if they're famous.
I made people laugh.
That shit flames out so fast because you find out you're like, oh, there's no real chemistry here. They don't have any history. You can't
it
really
only works when you're excited to see the people you're working with.
That's it.
Tom and I were in Vegas yesterday at the MGM, and I hadn't seen him in a while.
And you can't wait to talk about shit.
He goes, meet me at the Rolex store.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's what I love about this guy. And then we went in, and he's dressed nice, and he smells good, and I'm fucking still sweating. And and then we went, and we fucking went to the MGM. We partied. Yeah. We hung out for like maybe 3 hours, and then I fucking left, and I was like, God. And then he's coming out to L.A. You're right. Here's the deal. I'd argue the other way a little bit. Yep. I think posting stand-up clips is going to go away first.
Posting stand-up clips, and I'm the one saying this.
Yeah.
It might be the end of stand-up. Listen.
Thank you.
And I'm not against people doing it, but what I will.
There's so much that we can unpack here.
Bro. It might be, and I'm not against doing. Like, listen, I'm the biggest proponent. I tell every one of my friends, like, listen, build your career, get some stand-up out there. But I think people think that you just throw anything up and then you become successful, right? And it's like the bar has gotten low. It's gotten real low, and I think that the very important thing to remember when you're posting something is you're giving an example of what your shows are like, and you're hoping that somebody sees it, and then they come out to your show. When they see the machine story, they go, I would like to experience that. Yeah. That's really fun, right? When they see you post a great story, a great bit, a great piece of crowd work, great being the most important word, they go, I would like to be there. If you post garbage, you're giving them the reason not to come to the show.
Yeah.
There's people 2 years in posting clips, and I'm like, yo, God bless the ambition, but come on.
And there's some people that are fucking killing it. Don't get me wrong. This is the sad thing about it is that like there's like some like people who are doing an amazing job and they're fucking selling out theaters. And like, if you look at all the comics right now that are doing well, I'm talking about the next generation of comics, they're all comics from YouTube specials and posting clips online. Yes. So it's the top of the top, but it's also the bottom of the bottom.
Well, I've been in my bunk scrolling through stand-up clips. Yeah. Going like, I'm not funnier than these people. Like there's some great comics out there, but then I've been in my bunk going, what the fuck is this person doing? Now I say I benefit from the fact that I don't post stand-up clips.
So they have to see you.
So then when you see Razzle Dazzle, people are like, I mean, I'm being serious, the feedback's been very positive. And part of me goes, yes, it is good. The other part of me goes, yeah, but you don't ever see me do that. Like when you go on my social media, you never get to see me do stand-up. You can only see me live or on Netflix. So when you do see it, you go, wow. Yeah. Oh, wow, I forgot he does stand-up almost. I thought he was just a guy who promoted fucking shows.
You're at a different level though, where you already have fans. There's already curiosity about you, and you've already built a thing where people are like, I want to know what's going on with that thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whereas somebody that has to come up has to find their machine or has to find their specials, have to find it. So you do have to do it at a certain point.
Yeah, I mean, posted the machine. I posted from that special on Showtime. I posted the machine.
Yeah, you made it off a clip.
Yeah, I made it off a clip. Yeah.
I don't know anyone who's made it not off a clip in like the last 5 years.
Well, okay? So here's my
maybe
theory.
Nate Bargatze.
Now clips during pandemic.
Oh, that's right. He was killing with the dude. Sebastian blows the fuck up with the clip. It's like so. There's only one way now to like make it in the level that we want.
But you need a body of work behind you.
Exactly.
So you need one thing. You need one explosion to get people to Google you, and then you need a body of work.
That's great. Yeah.
So like for Rogan, I would argue Rogan was the Mencia shit, and then all of a sudden everyone was like, oh fuck, he's a comic. Everyone thought he was the Fear Factor guy. Bill Burr is the Philly rant.
Yeah.
So Jim Jeffries getting punched in the head.
I was telling Chrissy D about this. Shout out to Chrissy D. Also, Chrissy D got a new show on Vice. Make sure you guys go check out Chrissy D's new show on Vice. But and
he lost his glasses.
And we got to find him his glasses. Like, there's no way you could ever buy those specific types of glasses. I think they've only made one pair of those glasses. but he had this 9/11 story that he did at the Cellar.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing it and going, yup, he got one. And it's like, it is the fucking portal. It is the vacuum, the well, and everybody who watches it gets dropped in there and gets thrown all this other stuff that, you know, Chrissy has. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And they get to see
I'd
it.
even argue, don't walk away from the thing that got you famous. Like, lean into it. Because I've had people say, I've had people go,
hey, would you, Bert, lean into the thing?
no, people tell me all the time not to tell the machine story.
No, go with it.
Dude, I've had the biggest comics in this business tell me, you need to retire that story. And I go, you don't go to my shows. I had Ari Shaffir one time told me, you know, you have to stop telling that, right? A real comic wouldn't tell it.
Yeah.
And I went, okay. So we were doing a storytelling show up in Calgary, and he brings me up. I tell do the thing, and they're yelling at the machine. I go, no. Ari said I need to retire it. Ari went on stage after, and he could not get a word out. They would not let him speak. Mushy, he goes, no. He goes, fuck it.
Yeah.
I was wrong. I'm wrong. Come and tell it. But yeah, like I've had comics tell me, please stop telling that story. I've had man.
They just don't get it. They just don't get it. They never had that experience with it. It's
I would argue
situation.
if people don't.
That's frustrating though. Like people, because it's like they're judging your stand-up, and it's like they're acting like you don't write enough. And it's like, motherfucker, come to the show and then tell me I don't write enough.
Can you tell me what you were telling me yesterday? Can you tell me what you were telling me yesterday when we were just talking about shit that frustrates you? Can you tell the thing? He said the funniest fucking thing, because I was just like, we're just talking about shit that kind of like, let's not write jokes. Let's just be frustrated and like just vent on that, right? Because I think that's where the shit comes from. And you know, Mark has been only with his wife, right? That's the only girl he's been with, right? And like sometimes people judge him.
Yeah.
And he said this fucking. I want you to say it.
Wait, which part specifically? About getting married young?
No. He goes. Everybody makes this big deal about like all the women I haven't had sex with.
Oh,
like, he goes, but they never talk about all the dicks that haven't been in my wife. And it's just like, and it was like,
true.
It was like anger. It was like visceral anger coming out of.
Haven't been in my wife.
Yeah. He's just like, think about the dicks that have been in your wife.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just this beautifully like angry but like logical feeling.
Yeah. Dude, that would fuck me up in relationships.
Yes!
I would break up with chicks based on people they fucked. Because I go, how could you fuck him? If you fucked him, then you think I'm like that?
Yeah.
I'm better than that.
It's a reflection on you, ultimately.
And if
It's a reflection. Yes, it is.
No, I gotta fuck you in the ass. And I don't even want to, but you take it in the ass. Fuck, dude. Damn. Amen, man.
But it was one of those beautiful things where it's just like this like visceral feeling that you have, and it kind of like poured out of him.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's great.
I couldn't. I said to Joe the other day. I don't know why I said this. I said, did you and your wife talk about how many people you had sex with before you had sex first time? He goes, and Joe's one of those people, of course, that he goes, I don't deal in the past. I move from this part forward. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And I did ask my wife how many people she slept with.
God.
And
don't do that.
I was back. That was back, dude. I was so concerned with
How
AIDS.
many?
Not many.
Can you tell us?
Similar number?
Very similar number.
What's the cheek clap count?
What's that?
What's the cheek?
Well, how many individual claps?
Maybe say this weekend.
How many?
It's like a Harambe thing. It's like,
Oh yeah. That shit's fire.
You got it. You're doing it, Bert.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
You're doing it.
Let's get lit, man. Let's get lit.
Get the young audience out to the shows.
Epstein did it.
Yes. I don't know if that really makes
Hillary
sense.
Clinton was on the plane.
Yes.
Chelsea Handler went to those parties.
Yes, Bert. You're nailing
See
it.
when Chelsea had to defend that she didn't fucking.
No, what you said.
I don't remember.
They were at her wedding.
They were at her wedding.
Yeah, there's Epstein and fucking Maxwell at the wedding.
Oh no. My wife's number is 2 more than me.
8.
Yeah.
you know his number?
Yeah.
We do our research. It's not a fucking hard one to remember.
Yeah, single digits.
6, yeah.
Single dig? You know?
Yeah. Do you count the one where you came on her thigh? Because I guess that would make it 5.
I don't count. I have a weird count. Like I don't count blowjobs. I don't count fooling around.
For yourself or for her?
For me, it had to be penetrative. I'm fucking you.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of chicks where you fucked around, like in high school. You know.
But how many girls did you actually successfully fuck?
6.
A lot of times you probably fucked the sheets.
6.
Yeah.
Tanya, can I get a LaCroix? When you gonna take another little beer?
Yeah, I'll take another beer, please.
And another beer. All right, guys, we're gonna take a break for a second because you know it's
Six?
hard dick
Bert Kreischer
season. Matter of
fucked six
fact, every
bitches? I
season is
doubt
hard
it.
dick season, and
I
Blue Chew is providing
fucking
it. Okay?
doubt it. Bet he got
Blue
a
Chew
dick sucked
got
a
your
lot,
back.
so he's not counting
Same
those
active
ones,
ingredients
right?
is inside Viagra or Cialis, but this is the one that's gonna make sure that that girl you sleep with for the first time
Yeah,
doesn't let down.
I doubt his body count is that low. I swear to God. That fool's lying for his wife. For his marriage, right? For his daughters. I'd lie. I'd lie. I ain't no better than Bert Kreischer.
Get crazy rich. And then, just hit us back with a cool, 10-15%. No big deal. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's get back to Bert.
Also, I have a question about the early Rogan days. It's cool that Rogan, teed you up for the machine story.
Yeah.
Yes.
The early days that you were doing Rogan, what is that like? The first time you do it, do you think it's anything?
Dude. Oh, no. Oh, it's not.
How early were you on?
Walk us through the whole thing. What was the pod like? What did it look like,
It
etc.?
was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
You'd go to his house. He'd meet you at the front door. Kids running around, wife, dogs. And well, the first time I was a fan of the show, so he invited me to do the show. I can't tell you how early it was. It was early enough that it wasn't huge yet.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He was selling flashlights on it.
Yeah.
Oh, he had ads and stuff. Though.
Flashlights.
That was the
It was
specific.
flashlights.
Just the
flashlights.
only
Just
ad.
flashlights.
Just
okay.
flashlights, because Aubrey Marcus
Right.
I think his dad ran sex stores
Right.
and says, oh, what the fuck?
I gotta rewind that.
Right.
And says, oh, what the fuck?
Just the only
Just
ad.
flashlights.
Just
okay.
flashlights, because Aubrey Marcus
Right.
I think his dad ran sex stores
Right. Right.
and says, oh, what the fuck?
Listen, you got a great friend in Tom Segura. I just want to let you know. You have a great friend.
Hey, let's switch seats. Get in here. Get in here. Scoot over. Slide over.
In Tom
Slide
Segura.
over.
Razzle dazzle.
This guy, I've never seen Bert look this uncomfortable. When I called up Tom, I said, Tom, what would be something fun we could do with Bert? He goes, oh, he hates balloons and he hates clouds.
You can't smell that. You can't smell that.
Smell what?
The balloons. You can't smell that? You can't smell that? I'm being dead serious.
How do you smell a balloon?
They're gonna start popping, dude. They're gonna start popping. I'm gonna have to leave. I'm being dead serious. I'm gonna have to leave.
Hey, don't stand in that door. Stand in that door.
Okay.
They're gonna start popping.
Listen, well, can we leave one balloon?
Give me the beer. Give me the beer. Give me the beer. No.
You gotta drink more beer.
Let's chug.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Get
gotta
him
shut.
another. Chug this. Get him another.
They're really gonna pop. They really are, because they're really lights. They're lights.
No, those aren't even hot lights.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen if they pop, dude?
I'm
It's just
gonna
gonna make a noise.
Oh, dude, what is that? That little screech. Okay, it smells so much better.
I'm being serious. You didn't smell that?
What did it
Nobody
smell like?
smells anything.
Are you being serious right now?
Yes, I'm being
I'm
serious.
shaking.
Why are you
I'm
crying?
fucking shaking.
You have tears in your eyes.
Here you go, man.
You guys are fucking
Let's just drink, bro.
You can have this one too if you need.
This will calm your nerves.
Here, I'll drink with you. I'll take yours, Akash. Here, cheers. The clown has been removed from the room.
Ooh.
Let's have a cheers.
Fucking real.
Okay. Hold on, Bert. You know what's funny is the last time you were on here, we gave you pro-Russia memorabilia and shit.
I would suck Putin's cock right now. To fucking never have that happen again. Ooh, I'm shaking. I'm shaking.
Hold your hand out. Hold your hand
okay.
I know, but I'm
back
waiting.
is
I know
sweating,
they're in here. I know that it can happen again.
That was Dove.
Okay. I don't give a fuck who it was. I don't know how.
So you have a fear of clowns?
Clowns and balloons.
Hey, why balloons?
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Is it because the condom broke that one time?
I don't know.
Ooh.
No, it's way before that. I was a kid.
What happened?
I don't know.
Did you watch
I don't
it?
know. Nope. Oh no, I'll never watch that fucking movie. I would never watch that fucking movie. Hey, just do me a favor, for real. Promise me he's not coming back.
He's not coming back. He's not coming back.
He won't come
I
back.
cannot
I swear to
relax.
God,
I
he's
can't
not coming
relax.
back in.
He's not
I swear to
coming
God,
back.
he's not
I'm
coming back
fucking
in.
sweating.
And why don't you like clowns?
Yeah, can you
Can't trust him.
Yeah.
You can't trust him.
Did you know about this?
I tried to stop it.
Fucking
All I could.
thank you. You're such a fucking. So for my birthday, for Paul, Mom,
We have to give, first of all, Tom needs credit for this. I don't want to act like we did it alone. Tom deserves credit for this.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, but
Remember when I said I'd let him fuck me over?
yeah,
Well,
you were right.
we waited for you to say that on camera.
You're lucky I love you more than you love me, Tom.
Now, we do have one more thing that we have to tell you. It's just one more thing. What you've been drinking is a lie.
Is it not? I'm just fucking non-alcoholic beer.
Oh, yeah, but damn, I thought we could trick you into thinking it got spiked. But yeah, we spiked it with non-alcohol.
We unspiked.
We unspiked it.
So I've just been gaining calories.
Oh wait, now you care about calories, Bert?
Jesus fuck. So I've just been sipping on
Bread.
fucking Jesus.
Buddy, you think I started drinking for you?
I was wondering.
That's getting crazy.
Don't you not get into like your heaven if you drink? Your family shuns you and they put a tire around your neck and light you on fire or something. I don't know how their religion works. I am off. And that's why he brought in a real fucking drink. Oh, you motherfuckers. I'm sitting here just gaining calories going, why isn't it, how bad is my drinking that I can't
Tom,
feel
stop,
it?
stop acting like you're health conscious, Bert.
No, he wants to
Bro,
get drunk.
I'm fucking healthy as shit right now. I want-
Listening to some songs from the homie Travi.
No. You're beautiful and deserve to be happy. Don't ever let a man put his hands on you. Those who don't know how you gonna smoke my weed, fuck on the low and claim that you miss me. How the fuck am I supposed to trust you? You got me twisted, how fuck 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 you? Tell me it hurts cause your baby daddy never home. Ain't tryna hit none of the family stay on top, stay on top. Stay on Monday, baby. Have you ever seen a nigga like me? We making moves every day in these Cali streets. Two turn up all night, getting no sleep. Monday, baby. Have you ever seen a nigga like me? I got money. Now I'm home on the block, still turf. Got your girls with returns. They got fuck what you heard about. Exposing the game, keep your head up, man. It's okay. We trust you, talk me out. Stay strong, militant mind. You hella nasty, bitch, I don't understand. You fucking on the new nigga every chance you can. Your friends tell you slow down, but you never wanna listen. This game on instrumentals, now you hoes don't pay attention. How the fuck you supposed to find a man like that? Crawl over social media, you need a fall back. Where your real friends at? Probably being hoes too. They wanna kick it with us every time we come through. Saying young E, why you always so soft? See it's all on the bitch, keep it lit when it cross me. Do your thing, girl, don't let me get involved. But you be on that shit, they got them strings holding them walls. And you try it, but you don't give a fucking show.
Was Gucci. Did we just become best friends? Did we just become best friends? Yeah, it's in San Jose. It's in San Jose, and it's indoors, bro. It's yeah, but don't. Don't worry. I'll pay for you to get in if you need to get in. It's $10 to get in. It's $10. It's $10. $10. Yeah. But yeah, bro. The place is actually a stripper joint at night. You know what I mean? It's an after hours spot, so it already has all the stripper poles and everything, bro. Yeah. So it has all that shit, bro. Hell yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. No. That's a song right there. For sure, bro. Yeah, it'd be tight. I was even having a scene where it's like you're on the computer and you're looking at your chick or some chick posting some shit all scandalous, and then you have like this other chick rubbing your back like, don't worry, and you're all like, get off me, bitch. You know? You know what I mean? Get off me, bitch. I don't want you anyways. Everyone's allowed there, bro. I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, like that place is protected, bro. Like, you know, like it's a clubhouse, bro. So like, no people can't be acting a fool in there unless they're gonna get dealt with themselves, right? Um, yeah. Okay. Well, when we're there, it won't even be during after hours. It's gonna be during the session. You know what I mean? So that's in the daytime. I'm gonna ask them if I can probably rent out that area on top, that VIP area, and then we can do some shots up there too. You know what I mean? Yeah, hell yeah, bro. Good. That's todo. All right, hell yeah. Hit me up. Likewise. Nos vemos.
No job, no living, no need to ask why. Motherfuck your feelings. I'm always on the go. It's that killer hoe mentality for those who don't know. How you gonna smoke my weed? Fuck on the low and claim that you miss me. How the fuck am I supposed to trust?
Yeah.
You got me twisted, how fuck you. 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 It hurts cause your baby daddy never home. Ain't tryna hear none of that boo boo that you speaking on. How the fuck?
What am I looking for? Where is that bitch at?
Steroids.
Are you on the
fucking juice? Feel my arm.
Which juice?
Which juice? Kool-Aid?
Yeah.
Or curd?
Is it orange juice?
Yeah, I'm on tea.
I'm waiting on my shipment.
Wait, are you on testosterone?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Really?
How you feel?
Fucking amazing.
Does it allow you to smell things that don't exist?
No. But hang on. You did not smell. I smelled it the second she walked in the room. I smelled them.
Well, you
didn't
also
smell
saw
it?
them.
No, I know, but the smell is what bothers me. The smell, the touching, and their unpredictability. They're never.
Unpredictable.
As soon as you do that, as soon as you inflict
never
that
know
pain,
when the
then
balloon
all of
will
a sudden,
pop.
it has the possibility to explode like a drunk alcoholic father, like a fucking just like
Now we're
slap you
getting
at any
there.
time.
Now we're getting there.
For my
Talk to
49th
us.
birthday, Rosebud Baker was on tour with us, and she thought it would be a good idea. These idiots thought it would be a good idea to fill my bunk with balloons to surprise me.
She didn't know you were afraid of
She didn't know I was afraid of them. And the fucking, I came in and I fucking melted down. And it's my tour bus, and it was my bunk. It was my bunk. Dude, I've had this happen so many times. On my 40th birthday, I was in Australia, and the Board of Tourism wanted to surprise me, so they put they filled my entire room with balloons, my entire fucking room. Jesus. And so I was like, I had nowhere to put them because it's in a hotel room. Yeah. So and now I come home drunk and I'm in my room's full of balloons and I'm fucking melting down. And I call my wife and I go, I need to. I was like, I don't know what to do. And she goes, just have another drink and pass out. You'll be fine. They'll put them on the roof. They'll be fine in your bedroom. I couldn't get, and then in the middle of the night, the helium on all of them died at the exact same time. And in the middle of the night, every balloon in the room landed on me in the bed, and I fucking lost it. I lost it so fucking bad.
It's okay. You're safe now. You're safe now.
I'm never safe.
We got rid of the clowns.
I'm never safe.
Never safe from balloons and clowns.
I will never do the show ever again. I will never, ever step foot in the studio. It's so nice knowing you guys.
It's just chugging. He's just chugging.
Check out my special Razzle Dazzle.
That was the name of the clown, actually. That's good.
My movie, The Machine. It's coming out Memorial Day weekend. It's amazing. It's amazing. I want like what's crazy is like it's amazing. It's amazing how how it really hit me. I don't know if you saw it. Like I'm just starting to relax just a titch.
But first of all, how much is a titch?
Not much.
Now, Bert,
that's crazy. Being afraid of balloons.
I have to walk past them.
I'm balloon
so big. Allowed to have balloons.
No way. So their birthdays, they never had a clown or a balloon or anything.
Hold on. No one's getting a fucking clown. That's the dumbest fucking thing.
Have you ever had a clown?
No, that shit is fire, dude. My friends had clowns at their birthdays.
Your parents didn't bring a clown in. It's like the whitest thing in the world.
No, it was my friend's parents, but it was fire. The clown was fire. He rubbed his fucking leg on a coloring book, opened it up, and pages were blank. Crazy. Never forget that shit ever.
What about magic? How do you feel about magic?
I don't mind magic. I like magic.
You can trust magic, but not clowns?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, you know what's funny is Tom texted me. He goes, hey, you should do the balloon clown thing later in the episode because he's going to get real jittery. And I just sent back, ha, 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 thinking that he was just busting balls. But, like, it has changed you emotionally.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Who do you hate more, us or
It's
Ari?
fucking great.
Yeah, what would you have rather we...
Because we thought we were doing a nice thing, unspiking the drink.
Yeah. We unspiked your drinks.
It's really, so funny, I didn't even look at the cans. I was drinking...
Well, you were drinking a whole can in the beginning of fake beer, and it was just great.
He opened up the fridge also, but shouts to Tanya, she hid all the non-alcoholic beers behind the Stellas.
That was good. That was good. Yeah, I'm not even fucking around. I trust Ari more than I trust you guys because I can't promise that you'll never do something like that again. Like, I know Ari pulled me aside one time and he goes, you have to know I'll never drug you again. And then I went, I do believe that.
But with us, how do you feel? Like,
I just don't trust you.
Like, what do you think that we would do? Like, for example, at the Forest Hill show, you don't think we would hire like 100 clowns to sit front row or anything, right?
Oh, I'll toss them. I'll toss them on the street.
You Daniel Tosh right there?
I'll fucking Daniel Tosh them. Listen,
they're all gonna get in the same car and drive away.
This will be the biggest clip you have ever had of me ever. I'm being serious. I'm not turning anything on right now. I'm being 100% me. This is 100% me. When my wife sees this, my wife's gonna go, oh, fuck, they didn't do that, did they? Fuck.
Well, Tom did it. We had nothing to do with it, really.
Hey, Schultz, why do you and Bert not talk to each other anymore? Well, we brought 7 balloons in during the episode.
Wasn't 7. That wasn't 7.
How many? What did it smell like?
I'm being dead serious. You guys didn't smell it?
A dozen?
No, nobody smelled it.
Man, it smelled like a dozen. The clown, I mean, what
bothered you more? The clown
balloons or clown?
that touched you or the balloons that were 8 feet from you?
Probably the balloons.
So the balloons, it's like an allergy for you.
No, it's just I don't know what it is. I can't trust them.
You ever seen a blimp?
It's he talks about.
I went in the Goodyear
You
blimp.
can't trust him.
You're good with blimps?
Yeah, I was in the
This
Goodyear
all
blimp.
sounds like euphemisms for Jewish people, but you actually mean the thing.
What's that?
You can't trust clowns, dude.
Clowns are, man, it just doesn't make any sense why someone would do that to themselves. You know, Nate Bargatze's dad, I think, is a clown.
Oh yeah,
he is for certain.
And
a magician.
I almost couldn't become friends with him
with Nate
because I couldn't understand how he could have that in his family. And I'm not even fucking around.
Like he was made from clown sperm.
You couldn't.
He was made from clown sperm.
Nate could have it in his family.
Like I didn't.
But he was, yeah.
I couldn't get it.
Well,
And then I love Nate, and when I met Nate, it was like the first thing I go, your dad's like a clown, right? And he goes, yeah. And he was really proud of it. He's really proud of his dad. And his dad actually is, apparently, I'll never see it, but an amazing performer. He opens
for Nate sometimes,
He opens
right?
for him,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I just couldn't wrap my head around it. I went home with the chick. She was going to be 7, or she was going to be 6. My wife is 7. Or would have been
the
7.
number of girl you were going to have
I was going to have sex with this girl.
Bro,
She
the
brought
way
me home.
that you allude to fucking kids without even trying is crazy.
What did I say?
Yeah, let's just start.
Earlier, you were like...
Let's start the sentence over.
Yeah.
Let's do it again. I was fucking what would have been the 7th woman I've ever had sex with.
That's it. God damn it. Yeah.
Because before you just said...
change subjects.
Before you just said...
Don't tell us we're not friends, Bert, because we're fixing these sentences
Exactly.
for you.
We're
Don't
looking
tell
out,
us
dude.
we're not friends.
I'm definitely not doing fucking Logan Paul's podcast now. Or what's his name? Not Logan Paul, the other one. Jared Paul, Jake Paul. No, Logan Paul.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not doing that fucking podcast.
It's like
You
Harambe.
think that they would do some jokes about
Because this is the Harambe generation. This is the Harambe generation. I'm going to do his fucking thing, and he's going to have a clown come in.
Yeah.
Because this is all everyone's a fucking... I went home with a chick one time.
Yeah.
And she was beautiful. Lived in Venice. She said, can I show you what I do? This is a bizarre story. And she put in clown porn. She had shot a documentary on clown porn, and I'm not even joking. Vince Vaughn was in it. Like he was like as an extra in the back. She was friends with Vince Vaughn, and these two clowns are like, and I was like, what the fuck? I gotta get up. And Vince was with my buddy Gary Arbach, and I go, is that Gary Arbach? She goes, yeah, you know Gary Arbach? I go, is that Vince Vaughn? And then I saw the clowns, and I was like, and I just walked out. I was like, I have to leave right now.
Why would they ruin sex like that? You know?
Why would they ruin?
Why did she want to show you?
I have no fucking clue.
Fucking clowns, bro.
And then as like a little like
She was like,
foreplay.
can I show you something? And then she put in clown porn.
Hey, buddy, you okay? Take a deep breath.
I'm not.
We're not bringing the balloons back. I promise you,
There's
we're not
no more
bringing the clowns
balloons.
back.
There's no more clowns.
Deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Indian things.
You got this, man.
One more.
You can
Give me one
conquer
more.
anything, bro.
Are you interested in getting over it, like through therapy?
Nope.
Not even.
Nope.
Like immersion therapy, nothing.
Nope.
You're just cool, just living your life, never being around a balloon.
I don't need to be around.
Don't.
I'm not doing that.
I just saw you lick your bottom lip, and that was, you know what I mean?
No, I did that because you were laughing at me thinking about what I was saying. But I already made a promise to him that there's no more clowns and no more balloons.
Yeah,
Do you
men
want
of our
another
word.
drink?
Actual drink? We'll bring you an actual drink.
Pete.
Pete, we need another drink. We need another drink, Pete.
You don't have a show tonight, do you? Because I'm worried you're not going to be able to.
I got to produce a special.
Shout out to Shane Torres. Shane Torres is shooting a special
I
tonight.
can't believe I can't turn it around. I'm shut down. I'm like shut down.
But this is beautiful. How often do people get this version of Bert Kreischer?
Never. If you're on an airplane with me, you'll get it.
Oh, are you afraid to
afraid of
fly?
airplanes?
I'm terrified of flying.
Oh, that's why you did the tour bus.
Oh, that's why you did the tour
That's
bus.
why I did the tour bus.
Ah.
But you went on the Goodyear blimp?
It was one of the most terrifying experiences of my life.
I jumped out of a blimp as a child.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that.
As a
We were
child?
taking off, and I was like, I'm not doing this, and I just jumped out, and they had to re-land that shit.
For real?
Yeah, because I was like, I don't play. This is stupid.
Well, it
This makes
takes
no
off.
sense.
It takes
super
off like
slow.
this.
Yeah.
So you're literally. I mean,
that sounds awful.
It is fucking terrifying.
It's like we're not even going into outer
and
space.
you
why are we-
land like this.
Crazy.
It is terrifying, and I thought it would be. I thought I'd be fine with it, and I wasn't, man. It was one of the worst panic attacks I've ever had in my entire fucking life. And then you just hang.
Yep.
You just hang.
Makes no
and
sense
it's
at all.
Fucking. The only more terrified I've been, we were in a helicopter. We went to the Mother Guadalupe up in Rio.
Oh.
Virgin Mary.
Isn't it Jesus? The Jesus
Is it
statue?
Jesus?
Yeah.
And so we went.
Thanks,
buddy. And so we went up in a helicopter to it. I think it's at like fucking 12,000 feet.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then he just took the helicopter out over Brazil, and he said, "I have to wait here for a second." And we just didn't go anywhere. We just sat still.
Terrifying.
And I was like, dude, we need to get the fuck.
Terrified. I'm terrified of helicopters for that reason.
Yeah.
Planes, in my mind, I can convince myself that like if the engines go, they can use the speed.
We hear stories of guys landing planes on lakes. What's
I
his
don't
name?
think
Sully.
a jumbo jet can do that.
But we hear the story. I never hear a story of
Exactly.
a helicopter landing safely in the ocean.
They have this
on
thing
top
called
of the
Blade, right? And you can take a helicopter from like the West Side Highway
I'm
to
too
JFK,
scared to do that.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like twice as much as an Uber, but you're there in literally 5 minutes.
We took a helicopter from LAX to Burbank one time because I was only home for 12 hours.
Boom.
And I wanted to get the girls before they went to bed.
Yeah.
And it was one of the coolest things I ever did.
It's great. It's so fast. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But I can't stop thinking there's no fail safe for this. If the
All right, hang
engine
on.
goes.
I'm feeling better.
Okay, good.
It was funny. I can. The
I
alcohol's
knew you'd
kicking
get
in.
there. I knew you'd get there.
Are you able to finish the early Rogan stories?
No, I don't know. No.
Did we do it in the middle of those?
Yeah.
Oh.
He wasn't listening. He was pulling at you.
I'm not 100% here yet, but
No,
I'm
no, we're
close.
getting there.
I'm
Okay,
close.
so the helicopter thing. So all I can't stop thinking
Do
about.
not fuck this up with the clown.
No.
He's not coming.
If I leave, it's to pee. I'm not going to bring anything back. I swear.
I already told you there's no more clowns and no more balloons,
Okay.
and we'll make sure there's none when they get out. When you get out, when you finish. Okay, but the helicopter thing. I can't. There you go. You like it because you appreciate how funny it is. First of all,
Absolute. You are.
can I tell you something? And you'll be really happy about this. You'll be really happy about this.
What?
That clown that we just showed right
Yeah.
there is antiquated. They no longer have those clowns available. We tried to get a real clown to come. We reached out to every clown company in New York.
This is a good story.
Clowning
Yeah.
is done. We had to fabricate a clown
Hey,
because
you
they
won,
no
dude.
longer have rentable clowns.
I love to hear that.
Think about that.
You're like Walter White at the end of Breaking Bad season 4. I won.
Yeah.
You won, dude.
Yeah. I man.
Think about that.
You can still
Think
get
about how terrifying John Wayne Gacy was.
Reloj.
Oh
He's a
my
Spanish clown
God.
here in
Do you think
Salinas.
he ruined clowns, or was it already fucked?
I think he is the beginning of ruining clowns. I would be curious. I would be really curious to see why I don't like clowns because I don't know. I
Let's
can't
look
really.
into it,
I
can't
can't
we?
identify it.
You ever do like mushrooms, like mushroom
Yeah,
therapy?
I've done everything. No, I'm not doing. I don't know if I don't know.
You
mushrooms-
don't strike me as a therapy guy.
I'm in therapy. Yeah.
New or
Shout out
you've
to
done it?
BetterHelp. I've done it. I've done it a lot. Therapy is very useful for me, but I see you laughing and I have to look over my fucking shoulder.
No.
There's
I
no
swear.
fucking clown.
I'm going to go pee, but I swear to God, I'm
okay.
not coming back with anything.
There's no clown. Go on.
Therapy is super useful.
It's
I don't
great.
pinpoint the stuff that like flying, for instance.
Yeah.
Flying. I went to therapy to try to fix my fear of flying, and the therapist said, "Well, when was the last time you flew?" I said, "Fucking Monday." She goes, "So you do it?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, then you don't have a problem. You just don't like flying." And I went, "Yeah, but I have a terrible fear of flying." She goes, "Yeah, a lot of people do. But if you can do it, then you're there. You're
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
You're figuring." My thing with flying is I drink. I've had plane flights where I wasn't drinking where it's turbulence, and I've sobbed crying on a plane.
No.
Yeah. This Sober October, I had to fly to Minneapolis, doing the Target Center or whatever, and I can't drink, and we're taking the fucking red eye, and it's horrific turbulence, and I'm in first class, 49 years old, crying my eyes out. Crying my eyes out, shaking, holding on. I'm so bad, I will grab the person's leg next to me. I'm a horrible fear of. I have a fear of death, really.
Yeah. Okay.
It's ultimately what it comes down to. Is I have a terrible fear of death.
Now, has this increased with success?
My fears?
Fear of death.
Yes.
I understand that.
What is it?
I think it's like you get to taste this life that is oftentimes unimaginable and you're like, I don't want to lose this. And not only that, you have children, you have a wife. Like, there's all this life you get to live with them, all these things you get to see with them, and doing something frivolous, doing something dumb, doing something like fucking skydiving or whatever like that. Yeah. The reward of that is what? You land and you have an exhilarating moment. The risk is you throw away all this you've worked for. Like, I can completely understand that.
Yeah, I would say.
Dove, you got to get out of here.
No.
I did it to ease him.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw you in here, I was like, okay, it's not happening again.
Okay, yeah. But he's still gonna.
No, it's perfect.
He's still gonna remember that you're out. Get out. But now you know there's no more clowning. Yeah. Okay, go on.
That is crazy.
Wait, was Dove the clown?
That's crazy that.
That's 12:21. All right, 1:21.
Okay.
They're gonna start popping.
Listen, well, can we leave one?
It is Dove.
I think his dad ran sex stores.
Right.
And says, oh, what the fuck?
Listen, you got a great friend in Tom Segura. I just want to let you know. You have a great friend. I can completely understand that.
Yeah, I would say.
Dove, you got to get out of here.
I did it to ease him.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw you in here, I was like, okay, it's not happening again.
Okay, yeah. But he's still gonna.
No, it's perfect.
He's still gonna remember that you're out.
No,
Get
you're
out.
fine.
But now you know there's no more clowning. Yeah. Okay, go on.
That is crazy that is a.
But don't you think?
That's crazy that actually happens to me. That I don't have control over it.
Control over?
Over when the clown and the balloon showed up, that I shut down and I can't right my boat for a little while. That's crazy that's a thing that I have no control over.
Yeah, but that's the best.
Phobias.
No, but I don't know. I think that's the most entertaining thing. It's like.
Do you have any phobias? Oh, I wouldn't say them out loud now.
Homo count?
What?
I said, does homo count? No. Do I have any phobias? Yeah, I have a huge fear of heights. I do not fuck with heights at all.
Oh,
I'm
bro,
claustrophobic.
I'm claustrophobic and I have a fear of heights.
I don't fuck with heights at all.
I got stuck on the train for almost an hour once. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. And now anytime the train stops, I freak the fuck out.
Dude, I'll tell you what, my claustrophobia is so bad, I have a hard time scuba diving.
Oh, yeah. I'm not
he
into
hates scuba
that.
diving.
Get that fucking mask.
I like that shit.
Me and Rachel Ray were supposed to go scuba diving with sharks, and they sent over Rachel's claustrophobic, and they sent over the you have to have like a hood.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't do that.
You would prefer to use just the oxygen
just the oxygen, yeah, just oxygen. Have you seen the guy who goes up? They go up in. I forget who did it, but he went up in a U-2 plane. He went up in one of the spy planes that goes out of the atmosphere, so they had to wear a helmet, like a spaceman's helmet. And he said they're watching him, and he goes, "Okay, my nose is itching." And immediately I went, "Oh my god!" Like because he can't get to his nose.
Oh
fuck!
Yeah, dude.
And so the guy goes, "Just don't think about it." And he's like, "No, but it's itching really bad." I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
Dude, claustrophobia is a motherfucker.
I didn't understand claustrophobia, and then I just got this MRI recently on my shoulder.
Fuck,
dude.
Yeah.
Fuck. I had one of those. All you had to do is your arm, right?
No, I was rolled into
You did the whole thing for you?
Yeah.
Dude?
I didn't know
that
arm
scares
was
me.
an option.
Dude, I did just the arm. Mine was my elbow, it wasn't my shoulder, it was my elbow.
Yeah.
So I had to put my arm in there for I want to say 30 minutes or 45 minutes. I was in there forever, and I panic would hit me. And I could feel it well up, like going, here we go, we're gonna have a panic attack right now. And then I'd go, and I took a Xanax before I went, and it still didn't fucking help.
Oh, I would need the
was
Xanax.
Oh my
Wait,
god!
and explain to me. So the MRI machine is just on your. You can do whatever you want over
You
here.
have to put your arm in.
But they tell you can't move.
Can't
it's
move.
the not moving thing that's the problem.
Yeah.
If I had my arm in some machine and I could kind of roll around and do whatever, I'd be okay. But when I was rolled
No,
in,
you had to stay still.
You have to stay still.
That's fucking made me
so
crazy.
I'm back like this. I'm in this little tube, and I can't get a full breath. And I'm sure this is a function of claustrophobia, but I can't get a full breath, and I feel like, oh, well, if I could move a little bit, I could get one. But I'm breathing it it feels like 80% of a full breath.
Yeah.
So now I'm in this little panic where I'm like, well, how do I get that last fucking 20%? Am I gonna pass out in here? I had to tap out. Halfway through, I had to tap out, go back in to finish it.
I literally think my logical brain, and riding the train still gets stuck for 4 or 5 minutes. My logical brain is like, nothing is gonna happen. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna run out of oxygen. I told my wife on like our 3rd date, if we ever got stuck in an elevator for 30 seconds, you would never respect me again.
Dude.
You would never respect me again. It would be the most embarrassing thing. She got stuck on a train with me one time. She put her hand on my chest, just like calm me down. She said your heart was fucking pounding.
Dude, I got stuck in an elevator with a bunch of Japanese men. If you think panic sounds bad in English, panic in Japanese is like fucking kicking cats. And they started freaking out, and then it's making me worse. And I opened the doors to the elevator, and opened the other doors, and climbed out. The most I was like,
I would 100% try to do that. I wouldn't be strong enough. I'd fall to the bottom, but I would try to do that.
Dude, let's go panic for panic. I was in a Top Fuel dragster. Right?
Top Fuel dragster.
So it's a drag race. So they put you in. I'm just a passenger. First of all, you're in a flame retardant suit, zip up, right? Put the helmet on, gloves on. They put you in. They 5-point harness you, and then they strap your hands to your neck, so that you can't, because you're gonna reach out and grab something. They don't want you to touch anything. So your hands are here.
I'm not doing that.
So they put me on all the stuff, and then they go, all right, we'll get back to you. And I go, hold on. I need out of here. And they're like, well, he's going to be here in a second. I go, no, I need out of here right now. I need out. I'll tell you, panic for panic. This is the worst. This is the worst. I'm doing this show called Scream If You Know the Answer. It's a game show on roller coasters. The roller coaster they put us in is out at Magic Mountain in L.A. It's the one where you stand up, they harness you in, and then they put you in
Superman,
so you fly through it. They have a vest on me to hold a camera, a GoPro mount, and a mic. So I'm like really tight into this thing. We pull into the station. We're like one car out, and we're sitting there, and someone goes, "Wonder what's going on?" And they're like, "All right, we're having a little problem. We're gonna bring you in a second." They bring us in. The floor raises, and they go, "All right. We're having a problem with the releases. It shouldn't be a big deal, but we have to wait until the head mechanic's going to come out, and he'll fix it. He'll be here shortly." And I said, excuse me, can you just undo mine? And they said, no, we need to do them all at the same time. I said, yeah, but I'm having a little bit of a panic attack. And so the lady who's running it comes over and goes, it's going to be okay. You're the safest place you can be, but he's on his way. I said, where is he at the park? She goes, he's in his home in Tarzana.
Oh boy.
Fucking way.
It's 5 o'clock. It's fucking 5 o'clock.
Dead
and
of
this
traffic.
Motherfucker's in Tarzana, and I'm out.
Oh God, LA traffic. Fuck me.
I was in this thing for 45 fucking minutes. In this thing, like this, facing down. I mean, melting down. The woman, poor woman, had to sit underneath me and hold my hand, and I was crying.
1,000%.
I'm the host of the show. I'm fucking the host of the show, and I'm freaking out. I don't want to die. Can someone call me and sing me a song or something? Distract me? I'm fucking. I've had so many. You know what's even worse than that? Have you ever been stuck in deep snow? Have you ever been stuck in deep snow?
No.
So we go hella skiing in Switzerland. We go up to like fucking 10,000 feet, 12,000 feet, whatever the fuck it is. Air's thin. I'm hungover. We're all on snowboards, and they put beacons on our chests. I go, what's the beacon for? He goes, it's better to locate the body. I said, what? He goes, locate the body. Am I saying it right? Say you fall into a crevasse, I can find your body, right? I said that right? And I'm like,
God,
find my body? What do you mean find your body? And he goes, it's for us. It's not for you. Don't worry.
Nah, that shit is for you.
And I'm going, hold on. There's a chance I'll disappear? And he's like, oh, yes. Okay, so just stay real close to me, because I don't go in crevasse. And he goes, all right, let's go. And we start going. Now, we're on the top of a mountain in Switzerland, so it's what I would only guess maybe 4 feet of powder. I mean, it's just powder everywhere. So we start going, and I realize I'm a good snowboarder, but I hadn't snowboarded in a while. And you know your first run, you're always like, oh, yeah, I'm warming up a little bit. Well, this is my first run. This is my first run in a couple of years, and I'm on top of a mountain in Switzerland, and all of a sudden I catch a toe, and I go face forward into the snow, and I disappear. I take my arms to push up, and there's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's too deep, and I'm like panicking, going, "Oh my God, this is what they mean to find the body."
I literally go, "I'm gonna die here.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die," and I'm fucking sitting there for, I'm not even joking, 10 minutes. Upside down in snow, trying to push, and all of a sudden he'll feel a hand grab my back, pull me up, and he goes, "You should see your sound guy." My sound guy is upside down, skis like this, and gear everywhere. And I was like, "Get us the fuck off this mountain." Dude, getting stuck in snow is fucking terrifying. I could talk anxiety and terrors for hours.
Sinkhole scares the fuck out of me, dude.
I grew up in fucking Florida. Sinkholes were everywhere. Yep. You'd be playing football in the street one day, next day, sinkhole.
I swear to God, I was thinking about this last night. You know when the ground just swallows up a house or whatever? What happens to the guy? I'm like, if that happened to me, that's just how I die.
That's how you die.
They don't get them out of it.
That's how you die.
Yeah. It's like being buried alive. It's the worst thing that could possibly happen in my mind.
There's a clip online I saw one time, haven't been able to find since, of a guy in England explaining quicksand at the beach. And he goes, I'm bad with accents, but he goes, "Oh, okay, this is how," I don't know what accent I'm doing.
That's the Switzerland guy.
Yeah, Switzerland guy.
Yeah.
"Hello, mate." I go, all right. So this is quicksand. Very normal. Now, I have safety gears everywhere. Everyone's here. We've got a air compressor to get me out. But I want to show you how it works. It's very simple. You stand here, and in a matter of seconds, you'll feel your ankle sick in. Now, if you struggle like such, it goes a little deeper. Now, it's safe for me to get up to my knee. We won't go much deeper than my knee, but watch this. As I try to get out, I'm now at my knee. So that's how it works. Let's get me out now. And someone goes, "Okay." And he just keeps sinking. And they're like, "Hold on. Okay, this is not funny anymore. Let's get me out now." And he starts going deeper and deeper, and you're watching this guy fucking spiral
Quicksand
out of control.
Real.
This is a video. You can find it online. I can't watch it again. How about this? Have you ever seen the guys who go spelunking?
Oh,
No.
Oh, yeah.
Is it something like that?
Dude. We went spelunking in New Zealand.
Why? Can you explain spelunking real quick? It's like caving.
It's caving.
Yeah.
It's caving.
No, never.
Now, there's a combination of the spelunking we did was in water. And as we
This is the scariest fucking thing.
As we enter it, they go, "All right, we need you to get through the birth canal." And I said, "What's that?" And they go, "It's this canal. It gets us into the cave. It's a little tight, so but just get on your stomach and you'll marine crawl through, and there's just enough room for you to breathe, but there's one part where your face is gonna go water. Just keep going forward. It opens up."
Nope.
And so we get into the birthing canal, climb through, and we spend the next hour and a half in the most terrifying experiences I've ever had in my life. At one point, there was a waterfall, and in order to we had to get up the waterfall, and they'd take you. You can't hear anything. It's a waterfall. They put you behind the waterfall. So you're behind the waterfall, and then you had to climb up from behind it. But at one point, you were just getting fucking bukkakied with water. And then as you got to the top, they grabbed you, and they put you in a room where it was this tall, the water was to here, and we were all sitting here just breathing like this. Now, the only thing, this is crazy, the only thing that would calm me down, and I don't know the explanation, was a camera on me. If I knew a camera was on me, I could almost act.
Yeah.
So I'd keep going, put the camera on.
Your fear
me,
of being embarrassed is worse than your fear of
Time.
claustrophobia.
And
That's
we
fucking
got
hilarious.
done that fucking thing in New Zealand, and I remember getting out, and all of us were like, "We're fucking alive." They have in Colorado. There's horrible stories of these guys who go into these caves. I think it's called Caverns of the Wind, and they're caves, and they go in, and they will get in, and they'll get stuck like this, and they'll get their little rock chiseler to try to open up space for them. I've Googled it and watched it. It is fucking, I can't.
The crazy thing is sometimes you're spelunking and then torrential rain comes. That's what happened with those Thai boys.
The Thai kids.
Yeah. And the rain raises the water level. So now those parts that you had to crawl through are completely underwater.
Yeah.
So those tight little spaces, that's why they had to give them like the oxygen tanks and shit to get out. But that...
Why were they doing that?
It was a common thing to do, to go in, like very normal to go into that cave and go to this place where I think you go to a beach. I watched a documentary on it, I think.
There's some cool, beautiful, like all those stalagmites.
Hold on.
You know, those like crystals.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Risk not worth the reward for me, but I get it.
I've done a lot of spelunking. I did one in Austin. And the guy, they go, all right, we're gonna lower you in. They have a pothole, like just like you see on the street, and the guy takes the top off, and it is just the width of my shoulders.
Oh.
And he says, and they put a harness on you, and he goes, all right, I'm gonna lower you down, but you're too big. You need to go one arm down, one arm up to get through. And so they lower me down. I am fucking, all I'm thinking is, I have a GoPro on like a chest GoPro that's up in my face. And all I'm thinking is, I'm rescuing baby Jessica. That's all I was thinking, like, I'm doing.
Baby Jessica was a story from the 80s of a girl who fell down a well, like a young girl, and the nation was captivated by it.
And so, but then he yells up, hey, you're gonna see an area where it seems like you should get out. Do not get out. And I'm like, what the, like, I'm hearing this. All of a sudden it opens up to this beautiful place. Now you're so fucking claustrophobic that the second you see that, he's right. My initial thought was, I should stop here and take a breath before I have to go down. I think it was like 180 feet, I think was what they lowered you down. and as I see this oasis, I go, fuck this. I'm gonna keep going. And you go into even a smaller cave and you're just getting lowered. And then it opens up to a huge fucking cave. Yeah. And you're like, and all I'm thinking is, I gotta get the fuck out of here. That way. I mean,
then you walk out, right? Isn't there another exit? That's the most.
Oh yeah.
That's the most fucked up part. Take me in through the exit.
Yeah, have you done this?
No, but I've seen this before. It's like, why are we going this way?
Yeah.
Let me do a reverse.
And it's like a regular exit where people have tickets and they're coming in.
Stairs and shit.
Yeah. Spelunking's pretty badass, you know.
Bro, have you seen there are these like natural water slides sometimes, and sometimes they're usually like part of like rivers or like waterfalls. Now, Duval was at one, and what you do is you go through this hole in the rock, and then you're completely kind of like submerged with the flowing water, and then you pop out. So you got to hold your breath for a couple seconds. Something happened where like Duval went through the wrong entrance in the rock and got stuck, couldn't breathe, can't see. So he's just stuck in the middle of this, and the water's churning everywhere, right? Oh, I got the crazy story for you afterwards. Water's churning everywhere, kicks, pushes, finally gets put back into the funnel, and then but he's like, dude, I thought I was gonna die. Like, I was like making my peace in that moment. Crazier story. There's this wave pool that they're building, I won't say who it is, and a very famous
UFC
fighter, right? Is going to check out this wave pool. The wave pool isn't ready yet. Now, the way the wave pools work is there are these engines, right, at the bottom of the pool, suck in all the water from the pool, shoot it back out. That's what creates the waves, right? He's waiting to go surf. The engines didn't have grates on them. Now all wave pools have grates. The engines suck in the water. He gets sucked into the engine room with the water, okay? It's not like he gets spit back out with the water. For minutes, he's getting smashed around, whatever. They shoot out the water. He can breathe for a second. It's pitch black. He doesn't know what's going on, right? Then the water comes sucked back in, shoots out. 5 minutes. Like, they shut down the pool, but they're like, where the fuck is he? How do we get him out? Think about that. You're just in this thing. You could breathe for a second, and then nothing. Breathe for a second, nothing. No way out. Terrifying.
How'd he get out?
They stopped the pool.
Wait, who's
and
the
they were all
fighter?
there. We'll bleep it.
Shut the fuck up.
And
oh my God.
Guys, some interesting shows coming up. I'm going to be performing at my boy Gary V's conference, VCon, which is happening at the Lucas Oil Stadium. It's where the fucking Colts play. It's a football stadium, so this is going to be kind of crazy, but I'll be there.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. I don't know why they bleeped it out when that fool was on Joe Rogan. I think it's one of the guys from Hawaii. It's not Blessed MMA. It's the guy before him. Fuck, I forget his name. But yeah, short, bald guy. Fucking crazy. I don't know why they bleeped it out. Maybe there's some lawsuit going on.
May 19th. And then, of course, Calgary, where I went and shot that movie. The Thicket, look out for the Thicket. But I'm going to be coming back there August 27th to do the Great Outdoors Fest. That's going to be fucking nuts. 5,000 people in Princess Island Park. So it's just, obviously, hopefully you get some good weather. But, I mean, just come through to that. That should be absolutely crazy. Akash, what you got going on?
Yo, guys, the Bum Ass Cities Tour is launching. I'm coming to your city. I'm only doing one show because who the fuck wants to be there for more than one night? But I'm coming to these cities. Well, first of all, I'm going to be there here for a few nights because it's a great city. Denver, April 20th through 22nd at the Comedy Works in downtown. I'm going to get high on 420 and do comedy. I will never do that again. It's the only time I'm going to do it. Buy tickets to that show. Now, May 3rd, East Providence. May 10th, St. Louis. May 11th, Kansas City. May 31st, Cleveland. June 1st, Columbus. All those dates and a bunch more at akashsingh.com. Get your tickets now. Now let's get back to the show.
Have you heard Cowboy Cerrone's cave diving story?
Yeah, cave. That one was a crazy story.
Rogan, I won't even do it justice. It was one of those ones where you're sitting there going like cave diving's a motherfucker, because those guys go in and then they just, I guess you get turned around.
Oh, you don't know which way you're fucking going.
And then it gets silty and you can't see anything.
What does silty mean?
Like all that
soot from the ground.
All that
comes
ground is like very, very fine. It's like dust that's been sitting at the bottom of this cave forever.
So when you're walking around it just starts to lift.
It just goes, and then you can't see anything. These cave divers fucking die. Cave diving is like fucking wingsuiting.
Yeah, the squirrel
Like that's
suits.
how you die. Like once you pick that as a hobby, that's how you die.
Yeah.
Like we were going swimming with sharks in Hawaii, and the woman that was taking us out said, I was talking about my show because I always did dangerous stuff every week for the show. It was like crazy stuff, and she said, "Make me one promise." This is the lady who is going to be outside of the cage with the sharks. She is fearless. She goes, "Make me one promise." I said, "What's that?" She goes, "Never base jump." I said, "Why?" And she goes, "If you base jump, that'll be how you die. I can promise you that." And I was like, "Fuck, for real?" And she goes, "Her husband was the dude who hit the fucking line and vaporized."
Yeah.
That was her
Can you
husband.
explain that story?
He was wingsuiting with his dude. He was in front, his dude was here.
So wingsuiting is it's skydiving, but you have this suit on that has like these almost flaps.
Is it the guy that hit the fucking?
You
can get
the
lift,
bridge or
and
whatever?
So you can fly. So instead of just jumping down
Straight
and catching
down,
a parachute, you jump out off a mountain,
air.
and then the thrill of it is to get as close to objects as possible.
I see them right on the side of a mountain.
Go over a bridge.
Yeah,
Bro, there's one where a guy goes through an opening. There's like
those guys. I mean, do you remember the one with "This is how I show my love." This is how my ADD, and the guy jumps and he goes by the balloons and just catches it.
Oh yeah,
like those. I mean, those guys live life. Well, her husband, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was her husband was in front of her dude, his best friend, and they're going. I think they're in Asia, and they're going past a bridge, and he hits one of the fucking wires and vaporizes, and his buddy feels his buddy.
Oh no, because he's
all over
behind him.
Yeah, and he's got to still finish his flight, pull the chute. His
Holy
best friend
shit.
just vaporized in front of him.
Yeah, and ruined his outfit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot. You know, I wouldn't worry about my outfit. I'd be like, was my mouth open? Like, what the fuck did I just went in my mouth? Have you been tested? Like, are you clean? How many people have you slept with? But like, yeah, there's so many. I mean, I did so much stuff when I worked at Travel Channel. God, thank God for getting me out of that fucking. I would
Too
do
panic-inducing? Is that what you're saying? Thank God, or
Yeah.
you saw a little bit of it, right? In that moment, I was like that every fucking morning, sitting in a fucking shower, praying, like just going like, "Don't let me die today." Like, and by the way, it wasn't.
What
Here's the weird thing is
like
you saw
fucking
it. You saw the real
tormented
thing.
job.
It's like it wasn't real. Like it was imagined. Like I mean, stuff people did. I mean, yes, there was a risk, but it was stuff people did. But I still would wake up with searing anxiety every morning, and I would sit in a shower. I'd say prayers. I had rituals that I would do to try to keep myself sane. I'd have rituals in the shower, but I would sit there. I remember in New Zealand we had to do there's a jump. I'm sure you can find it online, but it's they put you in a chair, They put you. It's like just a free fall. They put a rope on you, you jump, and then you canyon swing, you swing. But they put you in a chair, and they lean you backwards, and they fuck with you, and at the last minute they let go, and you fall from a chair backwards into a canyon. I knew I was doing that. I knew I had to do that. That was my job. And I woke up, and I remember sitting at the bottom of the shower going, what am I doing? Like, don't I have any value? Like, am I just a person who can go, hey, welcome back, and then jump? Like, is that my only value? And I remember thinking, I'm a comedian. I'm a talented comedian. Why am I here? Like, I'm looking at my friends blow up. Tommy is blowing up at the time. Rogan's podcast is taking off. All that's happening. And I'm sitting here as a human. They called it, I used to call myself a water dummy. Because I was filled with water, and I just jump off these things. And I think that's why I work as hard as I do now, because I had those other jobs that I didn't want. And so now when I have an opportunity to do shit, I'm like, fuck yes, I will travel every single day of the year doing stand-up, because I lived the other life where it was like, yeah, it looked nice. And if you're into that shit, then you're into it. But if you're not into it, I wasn't into it. I wasn't into it, yeah. So.
Do you think there'll be a time, because I don't know if people realize how relentlessly you tour.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're just popping into clubs. You're doing it this at the highest level, and the highest level has a lot of anxiety. I don't know what your team is like, but I know, like, when we go in and we play certain places, it's a whole day. It's like making sure the lighting is good, making sure the setups are good, making sure everything you're going on is good. I've always wondered this with you. It's like, is there a time where you're gonna go, I need like 3 months, I need 6 months, I need?
No.
I don't think he's wired like that.
I'll tell you what makes. I mean this respectfully.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what makes me different than you.
Yeah.
Is I don't know the right way to say this. It is a compliment, but it's gonna come out sideways.
Okay, that's fine.
But like I got to be a failure. I got to be like a failure that no one cared about. Like I got that. It's a blessing, because there was a period when I got fired from Travel Channel and pulled off the Funny or Die tour, because no one gave a fuck about me, and they were like, it's $2,000, save $2,000 and get rid of Bert. Keep Tommy and Joey and Sebastian and Fluffy. And these are my friends, and I'm watching them blow up. Fuck. And I would sit at the store, and I remember having a conversation with a guy that I thought we were friends with, and he was looking over my shoulder, and Sebastian walked in, and he went, yeah, and walked away from me.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing people have really cool things and go and just cachet, like comics that I was like, he's good, but I don't think he's as good as like, and I would be funny, but I was lucky enough to have that moment in my life. Sadly, and lucky for you, you'll never get that moment. Like, you'll have what it was like to be a young comic, but you'll never have a little bit of success and then absolutely nothing, and then people going, I guess that's it for that guy. You're lucky that you'll never have it, but I'm blessed that I had the opportunity to have that. And if it wasn't for guys like Rogan, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. And I use Joe as an exact example, because Joe does what my wife does. My wife looks you in the eyes when she talks to you, and she is present. And it doesn't matter if fucking Kim Kardashian walks by, she will talk to you. Joe Rogan, I don't mean to suck the guy's cock all the time, but the truth is,
we do that quite often on this show, so you're in good company. He
would talk to you in the eyes as a friend, and he would never look past you. And I watched a lot of people do that. And so the reason I remember Ali Wong saying to me, you're acting like it's going to go away one day. She's like, you're one of the biggest comics
in the world.
Like, just fucking relax. And I wanted to go, Ali, you haven't been a failure. Like, be a failure once, and be a failure, like a legit. There was a point that if I quit comedy, not only would no one know about it, but no one would have cared. And so I was lucky enough to get that. And so
you think if you stop, it will go away?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, why not, right?
What I would get from that
if you
story
don't
is
use
that
it, you lose it.
Now,
imagine they came in right now. That would be perfect.
That would have been perfect.
What I got from that story is that you can build your success. It's like you did it once, and then you had some downtime, and then you did it again, and there's some confidence that should come from that.
I also, maybe. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm in control of my.
Like, I don't think this is luck for you, Bert.
I think it is a little bit.
Well, no.
We were saying this when we walked in. I was saying this right when I walked in.
Yeah.
10 best comics in the world, right?
Yeah.
If you named them,
Yeah.
I would argue I probably wouldn't make that list. However, I am one of the biggest touring comics in the world.
You might be the biggest right now, man.
I'm number 4.
I don't know in terms of money brought in, but in terms of size of show, who else is doing a bigger show?
But that's my point. Is I think
Fluffy maybe at the
Fluffy,
baseball stadiums.
I mean, Fluffy. There's a lot of guys doing really big shit. I mean, Joe Chappelle, Fluffy, Burr. People are doing Joe Coy. People are doing big shit. But I would argue, and this is why I think I'm very grateful to be where I am.
Yeah.
But it's why I hustle as hard as I do. Is I don't look at myself as talented as my peers ever. I mean, I look at what you do, and I go, God, man, he's fucking good. And then it inspires me, like, you gotta fucking work harder, man. Look at the goddamn it, he's funny as shit. You gotta fucking write more. You gotta tour more. You gotta fucking bust your ass. Like, I think it's from that period of time I got to be a failure that I'm very grateful. It's like you ever have a friend who's never been in love, and then all of a sudden they fall in love, and they're like, dude, I'm not letting go of this one.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like with stand up. I feel like that genuinely with stand up. And with movies and with television, you give me an opportunity, I'll take it, and I'll bust my ass. I'll show up sober. I'm not gonna fucking be a dick on set. Like I'm really blessed. I'm blessed and lucky to be where I am, and I won't ignore that fact. Trust me, I've seen dudes who feel like they deserve it. Like I won't say a name, but I can say a name very easily. We were talking about earlier about the thing.
Yeah.
That guy, I watched that guy behave poorly when he should have been just a little better.
Yeah.
And he
I mean, having some fucking gratitude and believing that, I mean, there's so much luck gets us into these positions. There's no question about that. I guess, like, I look at a guy like you specifically, and I don't go, that's luck. I mean, like, but I've also toured.
Think about this, right?
Let me say this.
I'm sorry.
Not luck in terms of, like, we all need luck to get somewhere. We all need, somebody to look out. Like, I had fucking Charlemagne and Joe. I had, like, two of the most powerful people in media, like, really fucking look out for me and, like, throw me opportunities and, like, like, I'm the luck. In my mind, I'm the luckiest. In your mind, you believe you're the luckiest.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's also has to do with kind of like our perspective on life a little bit. When you believe you're lucky, you wake up and you can smile a little bit.
Yeah.
When you believe that, like, you deserve more and why am I not being looked at, like, you're gonna be bitter and angry. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, there is a skill in understanding and a component that I think that you have that I think a lot of people don't have, and you have to work hard on that. And so I don't want you to undermine that. It is not easy to do this at this level. Continually do it, continually produce it, and continually, like, make it exciting to the point where people come out. Like, it is a hard thing to do.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is a hard thing to do. But I think sometimes I try to, I think for the person watching, it's easier to identify our lucky moments than our hard work.
Yeah, and it's better to harp on our luck than it is our hard work.
People will get bitter if you talk about, because you're actually, I watch you, you're one of the smartest comics in terms of moves you make, the way you operate. Your intelligence is very overlooked because you take your shirt off or whatever.
I never want you to see, I'd rather, it was sports, a perfect example. I'm probably more athletic than 98% of the comics working. But I downplay it as a joke, and I tell Tom I'll destroy you in tennis. He's like, you've never seen me play. And then I ace him 27 times.
Son, there's the clip of you shooting the fucking bow and arrow.
Yeah, like I have sneaky, weird talents, but I'm never gonna tell you my talent before you meet me. I want you to find it out for yourself.
Low expectations are the key to life, man.
Low expectations and over deliver.
Exactly.
It's that time.
And everybody's happy.
Yeah, I think that is, best compliment I ever got came from David Letterman. It got me emotional. He goes, the guy takes his shirt off, and he doesn't mention it. He goes, and then he does, like, beautiful storyteller, but his shirt's off. Mm-hmm. He's like, what? Why is his shirt off? And part of me goes, I don't fucking wish I had an answer. Wish I had a fucking answer. I'm from Florida. That's my answer, I guess. I don't know. Well, I used to like cheering myself up on the road on Thursdays, so I'd rip the shirt off, kill a beer, and then make myself giggle.
I don't think you need an excuse for it. I think that oftentimes if there's someone that's jealous of what you have, they have an excuse to justify why they don't have it. And please believe if they took their shirt off, they wouldn't get your success. Please believe. Anybody thinking that is the key, just take your shirt off. That's what I love. Like, any comics that are haters, like, just do it. Like, if that's the thing that's stopping you, by all means, just try that.
Yeah.
I guarantee you it won't work because there's something else going on. But it's a convenient thing that if somebody doesn't have it, but they're filled with fucking envy and jealousy, and you will get people that are going to be jealous.
Oh,
everybody.
I bet, man, I've had more. It's so funny. When you're a failure, you're everyone's friend.
And everybody's favorite. Oh, he's the best guy.
I love that guy.
Oh, he's so
I love that
funny.
Guy.
He's hilarious.
Get successful, you'll find out who your fucking friends are. Real quick. Real quick.
Yeah.
And
everybody loved Bernie Sanders till he had 3 houses. And you're like, socialist my ass, right? Like, it's that simple.
Yeah, it's true. All right, I'll tell the early Rogan days, and then we'll wrap this up.
Cool.
And by the way, I don't hate you guys.
Oh.
I just want you to know I love you.
I know you don't hate us.
But do you trust us?
I do.
We didn't bring him back in.
I appreciate that. And I like the energy this is taking.
Yes, it's real.
It's like very
Bro,
real.
you're going to do 40 podcasts as you promote these amazing things you have on, okay?
You
have to create something different. It has to be a different experience with Bert.
Nobody else pranked Bert. All right.
Let's not. I'm gonna go on Good Morning America, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, we got a fucking clown." By the way, I'll swing on that clown. The early Rogan days were fucking fascinating, because, when you talk about Tosh doing radio, that was all we really understood, and Joe was not having it.
So when you tried to do bits, he would shut it down.
My first Rogan appearance, it would be cool to see a highlight reel of me trying to do bits on him, because I was like, oh yeah, because I didn't know no one knew what a podcast was,
right?
Especially the way Joe does it. So I would be interested to clip him out. I was like, I fought a bear one time, and he was like, what region was the bear from? And you're like, I don't know what region it was from. And he was like, well, wait, why would you? And it was like a very thoughtful conversation. And then I realized within 20 minutes, this is not radio.
Yeah.
And I realized that the best thing you could do is listen to Joe sometimes.
Yeah.
To try to respond to him.
Yeah.
It's why today I don't feel like I'm that great when I do Rogan, because it's a lot of it, I feel like I'm just catching up with a friend. And I don't know if it's entertaining as a podcast. I feel like you're just hanging out with your buddy.
Well, maybe that's the camaraderie people want. Maybe they're alone.
And maybe
they're working from home. They haven't seen anybody that day. And
it's what I used to love about it. I used to love it. So I get offered to do Rogan. I remember saying to Ari, because I didn't trust celebrities. I'd gotten in a fight with I'd gotten in beef with a comic, and I just didn't trust. And I said to Ari and Redban, I said, so, like, what's Joe's thing? Is he gay? And they're like, what? I was like, I thought he was gay, because I was like, why would he want me to come to his house? And like, what's his deal? I'm like, no, he's just a great guy. I go, no. They all got something. What is it? And then they're like, no, he's just a good guy. He thinks you're funny. Like, do his podcast. So I go, yeah. I thought everyone was gay. I thought Elliot Gould was gay. Will Smith, I thought Will Smith was gay. I thought anyone that wanted anyone that wanted to be friends with me, I just figured they were gay and they wanted to fuck me. Yeah. And so I literally was like, went to his house.
The most likable guy on the planet. You can't fathom that somebody's like, I'd like to just be around you and tell stories. They just want dick.
Yeah. But I was a fan of Joe's. I was like a legit fan of Joe's. Okay. And so I go out to his house. I do the worst thing you could ever do when you meet Joe. Now I know this.
Okay.
I go, hey man, huge fan. I want to meet your dogs. I want to see your deprivation tank. I want to get high. I want to play pool. And then we can do the podcast. And Joe is like, okay. So he takes me out and introduces his dogs. We get high. We play pool. Shows me his deprivation tank. Meet his wife. Meet his kids. Do a podcast. And I'm trying to do bits, and it's not working. And then I'm like, okay. And then I just go into if you ask me a question, I'll respond to the question, which is like what we do now, but it just was not what happened in media. And so
I wish people knew what early radio days for comics were.
Oh.
Because what you're explaining makes so much sense, but I don't know if they know.
If you've ever watched Comics Unleashed,
yeah,
where the comics just go around and do their bits in a circle, that was radio. They
tee you up with the premise of your joke.
I did Bob and Tom back in the day, and you had to write out your bits. You had to write them out.
Yeah.
And so I wrote out all my bits, and then you gave them to him, and they're like, so,
You ever go to Russia?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm married. Are you married, Bert? And you'd be like, ugh, here we go. And so, but it was Bob and Tom was fun back, and that was all you knew.
Yeah.
So, and this is Rogan. You do it in an office. I think he had a cat that would like take shits in the bathroom in the middle. It was in his office, and Joe was rich, but he wasn't Joe rich today.
Yeah.
Like Joe was like, and he would have you do this vlog after the podcast, which is so awkward. Like Brian will pull out his laptop and go, all right. And Joe's like, what's up? I just did a great podcast with Bert. So Bert, what's going on? And you'd be like, not much, Joe. It was so fucking bad. You can find those clips, I'm sure. And Joe had black facial hair, and he still had hair. He still had hair, but he wore his hat backwards because he'd, whatever. And so you get done the podcast, and then he'd be like, you want to go get something to eat? And so it was crazy. You know, he was also banned at the store at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
So he would do shows at the Ice House. So then, the first time I do it, I think in my head, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I can't do bits here, but I do have this Russian mafia story that I bet would be good on this show. And so I go, hey man, next time I'm here, remind me to tell you the Russian mafia story. Like a week fucking later, he's like, hey, come tell the Russian mafia story. So like, I'm sure I'm off on timelines, but I come back, I think a week later, and he's like, everyone's wondering about this Russian mafia story. And I tell it, and I gotta be honest with you, it bombed.
Yeah.
It sometimes, I hope I'm not pulling the veil back too back. Sometimes Joe and Red Band would be fighting. And so you'd go in to do the podcast.
There'd be some tension.
And the whole thing would be them just, Joe being angry at Red Band because Red Band is saying buttholes and Olive Garden the whole time. And Joe's like, Brian, you gotta realize people are fucking listening to this. And then you'd just be sitting off to the side, like watching them go back and forth. And then be like, you guys wanna try some Alpha Brain? And by the way, this is when Joe's launching Alpha Brain. This is when they're launching on it, right? So he'd give you his vitamins. He'd load you up with his vitamins, give you a fleshlight, and then be like, take those Alpha Brains, tell me what you think about them. And then you'd take them, and in a real scientific way, because they promoted, what's the, lucid dreaming. And so I'm an active lucid dreamer to begin with. And so you'd come back, and he'd be like, so you took Alpha Brain? And this would be on the podcast. And he'd be like, yeah. And he'd go, so wait, what did you feel? Like the Joe analysis part of his brain. And he'd do that on the podcast about his own pills because he was trying to figure out if he liked them. And he was like, I love the Alpha Brain. I'm taking like 9 a day. I go, I took 1, Joe, I couldn't sleep. And he was like, no, what did you take? The cortisone mushrooms, the roll on, roll off, whatever the fuck. It was really interesting. And then the first time I did Rogan, I remember getting in the car and I had 3,000 Twitter followers extra. And I was like, wow. Second time I did Rogan, I told the Machine story, and I went to the club and it was sold out, comped, but sold out. And then I watched it, and then the third time I did Rogan, I made a Machine shirt. The Machine shirt that I used to sell at shows. I got home to my house and Leanne goes, the fuck? We just sold $25,000 worth of t-shirts. She goes, I don't have those made. Woke up the next morning, she goes, we sold $90,000 worth of t-shirts in like 2 days. We had made 6 figures in those t-shirts by the end of the year, by like in 3 months. I think we did that, must have been in November. By the end of the year, we made 6 figures in those Machine shirts. Joe wore it at a weigh-in. You'd see huge fucking spikes. I go to different countries. I remember I was in Amsterdam, and they were yelling the Machine in Amsterdam, and I was like, what the fuck? And then, so it's funny. You just get high and talk for 3 hours and not remember any of it at all. And it's crazy to see where he is today. Like I just did it the other day, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me. That I remember I did it one time and I got really fucked up, and I might have said that America created COVID or something. I don't know what I said. Who fucking knows what I said? They took the episode down and then put it up in 2 parts. And then they clipped out the thing I said. I don't know. I'm terrified to ask Joe because I know that there's some parts missing. And I was like, hey, man, did I say some regrettable stuff on your podcast? He was like, fuck it. I'll say fucked up shit. Yeah, it was great, man. It's great. I'm bummed that you guys didn't get to experience that side of the show. Yeah. Because it was the fun when, like, Joey Diaz, like one of the hardest I ever laughed was Joey Diaz just rolled. I never met him. This is the opening words of meeting Joey Diaz. We used to do Death Squad nights at the Ice House, where it was like 5 comics on the podcast with Joe, and we just do it, and we'd do a show, and so we'd hop on and off. So we'd go in to do a set, and then come back to the podcast, and everyone would be fucked up. And Joey Diaz comes in. I never met him, and he's like, dog, you ever eat a woman's pussy on a Quaalude? And I was like, no. And he goes, Lucy Snorbush. And you ever break into someone's house and eat the pussy on a Quaalude? Lucy Snorbush. And we cried fucking laughing. And then I found out it's the hardest I've ever fucking laughed. One of the top 5 hardest I've ever laughed. And Joe goes, you've never met Joey before? And I go, no. And he goes, well, you're about to be your best friend. And Joey Diaz and I, from that day on, Joey lived right around the corner from me. If we ever did that show, we'd drive out together. Those were the days, man. I miss those days so much. Because it was like, you guys don't understand when comics hated each other. They used to hate each other. Comics hated each other. No one wanted anyone to succeed.
We started in that.
Yeah, and I think this still exists.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I think this still exists, but I think that you guys did something that really transformed the way that we behave with one another, and it's pretty awesome.
That's Joe. I mean,
it trickles down, man. I always say that, like, what Joe does for you guys, for me, it's like what we do maybe for other people. But
I remember before I met you, you tweeted about Bring Back Apu, and I just thought that was so fucking cool that the Machine is tweeting, yo, this is a great special, everybody go watch it.
Well, yeah, but it's the same thing that makes me say I'm lucky instead of talented, is I love being a fan of shit. I've said this ad nauseum, but I liking stuff.
Yeah.
I don't understand the energy of disliking stuff. I don't understand that energy at all of like hating things.
Yeah.
I love liking stuff. And it makes comedy, this business, so much more fun to be a fan of your friends.
Yeah.
And to love when like...
You got abundance, man.
It was so much fun when you did, when you put out Infamous. It was so much fun to celebrate your success. It was so much fun. But if you're a fan of it,
yeah.
And as opposed to, and I'm sure those comics are out there. I do not hang out with them. The guys that are like, fuck Schultz, you know, that's bullshit, or you know, whatever. All that stuff. It's so much fun to go look at this.
Yeah.
He's changing the game. Oh fuck yeah. Oh, it's on YouTube. Was it a fucking 13 million?
15.
Yeah,
15 million.
Yeah.
Imagine if you get to pick a team. I want to be the guy that has fun, or the guy that goes to bed angry every night.
Yeah,
I'm never going to
the guy that has fun.
I don't want to be that guy.
Close.
There's guys that make a living doing that. There are guys online that make a living doing that.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy that goes, fuck yeah. By the way, I can celebrate the guys that hate me also, because I go, that's got to be cool to hate me. I get it. Trust me. What a fucking weird episode. I've never done a podcast like this in my fucking life.
Good. That's what we want to create every time we have somebody on. A different experience.
What a weird.
Okay, before you leave, I want to ask you, as you reflect on your life, do you think that you've lived a fulfilled existence?
Yep. I've lived the best life anyone's ever lived, that anyone could ever live. No one, I mean, I can't imagine anyone
Found
will cry.
the love of your life.
I
You
can't.
built a family.
Yeah. I can't imagine that anyone's going to cry at my funeral.
Ooh.
I mean, we cry selfishly a lot of times.
Yep. People should. I'm going to get emotional saying this. You guys fucked me up today. I've been the luckiest fucking guy in the world. When I die, everyone should just go like, I don't deserve any stuff I've gotten. I don't deserve anything. And it's been like, and I've done everything in the world. I've traveled the world 4 times. I have 2 beautiful daughters. I'm in love with my wife, and I have the greatest career that I feel so lucky to have, and I have awesome fucking friends. Like when I die, and I shouldn't have had any of it. There's people that don't have any of this shit.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
This right here is why you deserve it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I believe that.
I can't. I mean, I hope my funeral's fun.
Hey, I'll drink at your funeral, buddy.
There you go.
Not a
What a
not
beautiful,
real beer, but
what a beautiful way to look at life, man.
Just no balloons.
Oh, there's going to be balloons. We're all dressing up as clowns. We're going to lift you right out of that fucking casket. 100%.
You want me to go to heaven happy? Everyone dresses as clowns. I'll close the casket for you. I'll fucking start digging holes, motherfuckers. Oh, fuck me.
Guys, this has been Bert Kreischer. Give it up one more time for an absolute legend. Make sure you check out the Roast of Bert Kreischer. Make sure it's our OnlyFans Roast of Bert Kreischer. Make sure you check out the movie, The Machine. We're all going out to support
Memorial
that.
Day weekend.
Make sure you check out the tour. He's coming to Forest Hills, New York. Where else are you going to? This is this crazy.
Gorge, fully loaded. It's a sick lineup.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Norman, Get Shane, fucking
Louis
everybody.
Black, David Tell.
God.
Tiffany Haddish. It's crazy. And then Razzle Dazzle, my special streaming right now.
And the special on Netflix right now. So make you check out everything. We love you, man.
Gentlemen, what a fucking bizarre afternoon.
This makes me so happy. That was a meal.
Yeah.
That was a meal. That was that's a young phrase I can use.
All right, guys. Peace.
Getting the Nile, like they talk about an expedition to what they called Buntland. To go and get stuff at one point. There's a place in Australia called the Gosford Glyphs that I happen to think is probably a result of a shipwrecked, like Ptolemaic period Egyptian crew. There's these glyphs in this place in Australia in this little cave. They think it's a hoax. It's not a hoax.
Wait, go to this.
Gosford Glyphs, yeah.
Gosford Glyphs.
Yeah, Gosford Glyphs.
And you're saying that the Egyptians reached Australia.
Well, it's on their maps too. They literally show like horses in America. And
él me dice,
Dynastic Egyptians.
Ay, vamos a echar la toalla o whatever.
Like
Y yo
late
digo,
period,
Simón,
Greek
no.
Roman period. That's the matches the
lloviendo,
glyphs that they did.
Quedamos que si está
They look
lloviendo,
cool
mejor
because
no
the story that they actually
arriesgarnos,
tells, we had some of it
quedarnos atorados allá.
translated, was the scribe and the captain died. I think one of them died of a snake bite. They were shipwrecked. So this is the results. The carving are the results of a guy that could probably read Egyptian but wasn't a stone carver. It's like you can probably read mine on paper, but try carving it into sandstone to see how far you get. But anyway, so they've known about this. Literally the thumbnail for my video. They've known about this since the 1970s. The modern dogma on it, I guess, is say, well, it's a hoax. Some guy came back from the war and was like, oh, I was in Egypt, so I'm just going to draw some random collection of hieroglyphs on the wall. Turns out that's not the case. It actually tells a story. It's coherent. What's even crazier is there are symbols on this wall that we didn't decipher until like the year 2000. So they weren't in Egyptian dictionaries until the year 2000. Yet they're still on this wall and been there since the 1970s, and they still want to call it a fake. I'm like, what's so hard to believe? These guys were seafarers. Maybe they just got a whole bunch of storms blowing them halfway across the Pacific, and they got shipwrecked down here. They got looked after by the local Aboriginals. They lived their life. They buried their dead, and they wrote something about it on this wall.
Do we know what the story says?
Yeah, it says that it was the part of it. Not all of it's been decoded, but the part of it says that. Yeah, it was exactly that. It was a crew that got shipwrecked here. One of them died from a snake bite. The captain and the scribe died, and then the locals were looking after them. Like the Aboriginals would look after people. Like it happened a lot with the white explorers too. Later on,
you could make a pyramid. You can make a boat. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like once you subscribe to this idea, what's that?
Sorry, this would be dynastic Egyptians, and we're not sure the dynastic Egyptians built the pyramids.
Right. They did a lot of them. Look, dynastic Egypt did a lot of amazing stuff. They were, particularly by the end, like the New Kingdom and the Ptolemaic period, they had a lot of capability. They were tremendously wealthy. They built like Karnak Temple. Sure, it's sandstone, but it's spectacular. They built some amazing stuff.
Karnak Temple?
Karnak. You know, they embarked on they were a massive civilization that lasted a long time. I don't want to undersell what they were capable of.
Yeah, we're just comparing them to the goat.
Well, yeah, there's as capable as they were and as magnificent as they were, there's just a few things that are outside of their technological capability. And that one top left there is that red one, top left there. Yeah, that's one of them, yeah. So this is like these giant sandstone columns.
That's beautiful.
And that's all dynastic work. All those rams, there's dynastic work. These big pylons and walls are dynastic. There's huge structures. Like the Karnak Temple and Luxor Temple, they're amazing. I think they combine, like a lot of these structures combine both elements. It's like they built a temple on top of an older temple or an older structure that I think does stretch back to, you know, these earlier times with these granite artifacts, the big obelisks and the single-piece statues made from granite that show all these signs of precision. Like, I'm pretty careful about what I define as being this is definitely older. And you know, to me, it has to. It's a couple things. It has to show the machining marks, right, from these advanced tools that we know weren't around or we can't explain. They have to show precision, symmetry, like anything, and we have to analyze it to look at that. You can't just look at it and go, I think that shows all this precision. Like, we need to do more work analysing these things to define that. And there's a bunch of objects we've done some of that for. And then I also think that anything over, say, 300 to 400 tons, I think once you get into those realms, I don't think you're moving those as a Bronze Age civilization. No, certainly no one's demonstrated.
Why is that? Why is that weight?
Well, because and it fluctuates somewhere in there, I think, because it's not like when you as mass goes up, it's not like a linear difficulty scale that goes up with it, right? When you get into really large weights, material strength becomes an issue. You can't be using wood. You know, it's like this. The difficulty level ramps up.
Yeah.
And so, particularly once you get to like 1,000 tons and more, but there's plenty of stuff that I'd say I think your upper limit's probably 300 to 350 tons. People have demonstrated, hey, we can move at 50 tons or 100 tons.
Right.
I think they could totally do it, but when you start scaling up to these big numbers, the obelisks and stuff, and particularly in the environments they are, like that obelisk in the quarry, man,
it's
1,200 tons.
What's that called?
It's Aswan Quarry, ASWAN. I have a picture of it in my directory, but you can look it up. Aswan Quarry, an obelisk. And it's 1,200 tons. It's made from granite. It's in a granite quarry. It's literally in a granite mountain on an angle that there's no room to move this thing, but somehow they carved it out. And you know what? We're going to pick this thing up, lift it up 30 feet, and then move it across this rocky, mountainous environment and somehow transport it somewhere.
Wow. So this was an obelisk that was never completed?
It was never completed, right. It's
And how do we know it was an obelisk and not just some other type of...
It's shaped like an obelisk. It literally has a pointy end, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's roughed out. Like, they would often do this. They would almost like leave a sacrificial layer of stone around the outside of stuff for shipping, and then they would finish stuff on the sides.
Interesting. Then they finish it. That's really
fun.
They
never detached it from the bedrock. I mean, so it's still attached to the bedrock. There's stones of this size in Baalbek in Lebanon.
And this is similar to the present obelisks that we see that are still erected.
This is way bigger.
Oh, this is way bigger.
Yeah, some of the other, I think the biggest other obelisk might be 400, 500 tons, something like that.
But those are still solid pieces of...
single piece of granite standing.
Oh, wow.
That we know. Well, and there's rumors in history of an Old Kingdom obelisk at a site called Abu Ghurab. We know, and actually that it is acknowledged it's not a pyramid. It looks like a pyramid. It's actually the base for what would have been a massive obelisk. But it's all gone. They just think it's been quarried and
of course.
Up. So.
Now, the hieroglyphs that we all know now from Egypt, you know, like the guy standing, are any of those, do they tell a story of
what does that mean?
These pyramids could have been made?
Like, what is that?
I don't know.
Did they tell a story of how the pyramids could be made? Were they made by the dynastic Egyptians?
There's very little, actually, about the pyramids. That's the funny thing. There's no depictions or scenes that really show them ever building those pyramids. There are depictions in the tombs of the nobles of them showing them making mud bricks, because after those stone pyramids, you got to remember, like, that's one of the crazy things about those stone pyramids, is that they're the first pyramids ever made. Like, it went step pyramid straight to, like, what was it, Maidum, and then the bent pyramid, red pyramid, great pyramid, second pyramid, third pyramid. Like, they're the first pyramids. These are the most precise giant structures. After that, they kept making pyramids according to the
shittier and shittier.
It just, well, they're all made from mud brick, like little mud bricks, and they're all eroding. But they do talk about building those. They don't really talk about building any of the pyramids. And in fact, there's a little tomb around on Giza. There's an we like to take people there and show them the inscription. It says, "This guy was the overseer of the pyramid city." He didn't say it's very careful grammar. It says he wasn't the overseer of, like, the pyramid builders. It was the pyramid city. It was the city that sprung up around the pyramids.
As if the city was, or the pyramids were already there.
It's as if the pyramids were already there.
He was the overseer of the land. And that would also support your theory if there's there's hieroglyphics, but none of them building the most impressive thing theoretically they've ever built.
Yeah.
They have hieroglyphics and building a less impressive one, though.
That's right. So, and that's typically what gets you. So you see the same thing. For example, there's a depiction of them moving a statue, a big statue. It showed up briefly earlier, and it's like, well, see, this is how they move the big statues. It's like, wait on. This depiction is of a statue that we know part of it still exists. It weighed about 56 tons. There's 180 guys here, and that statue's made of calcite. It's not made of granite. You can't use that to explain how they might have moved a 1,000-ton object. You know, you can move a 56-ton object with a bunch of guys dragging it on a sled. Good luck trying to do that with 1,000 tons.
Yeah.
And so it's like that's.
Couldn't they have just gotten more guys? Is that possible? If they got a city of men?
No. I don't think, not with 1,000 tons, the frictional coefficient you'd have to overcome.
It's like
you just dig it into the ground. Your wooden sled that you're sitting on this thing's going to explode. They didn't have access to the wheel, according to them. Like there's no depictions of them using the wheel back then. So it's like, and then you've got to get it across places like this, where it's like literally mountains. There's a lot of this stuff, and I think they use the Nile, because Aswan's on the Nile, but there's tons of granite artifacts that aren't like rose granite from Aswan. They're like a black granite or diorite, and there's these other quarries that are way out in the eastern desert. Like nowhere near the river. You're talking hundreds and hundreds of miles across mountains and valleys, and like it's a whole other logistical
It's also
issue.
possible that there were like other river systems that existed back then.
Maybe. There's not a lot of evidence for it in terms of you sort of see something there, but yeah, the Nile's been there for a while.
Yeah, I saw one video, it was a random video on YouTube about them floating the blocks up the Nile, not on boats itself.
Ladders and things.
Yeah. So, I mean, even that is just really tricky, but that makes more sense than loading it onto some like rickety little ship and having that hopefully not capsize. Yeah.
It's an exercise I want to do, particularly at the quarry. They do say, well, see this area here, this is the harbor where they loaded these ships. I'm like, we have examples. Briefly, it came up here. There's the Russian Thunderstone. So it's a giant 1,500-ton stone they moved in like the 1800s from Finland to Russia. Part of that was across water, and they had to make a huge barge to put this thing on, massive. And then they had to tie up warships on either side of it to keep it balanced. This massive thing. And you're talking about this harbour that's like 2 times the width of that obelisk, and you say you're going to put a ship in there? Can you even get a ship that's going to displace enough water to take 1,200 tons and have its centre of gravity in the right place, where it doesn't just go, which is probably what would happen if you tried. I just don't think you could fit any ship in there that would be even close to big enough or stable enough.
Can we take like 2 minutes so I could pee?
Listen, let's just discredit everything that you've just said.
All right.
Do you believe in giants?
I think there's a lot of evidence for it, yes. I've had this discussion with Hugh Newman, who's big into it, and I'm like, man, show me one bone. I mean, show me one bone.
Didn't they find some in America? Wouldn't they find these like
lots of reports of that? But there's no bone. Like I honestly, there's nothing that you can go see now. There's some legitimate stuff involved with the giant. I've since learned, since I said that to him, and he was like, oh, actually. But so the Smithsonian has admitted to, there is some documents where they talk about having them. They say they don't have them anymore. What happened was it's this, divine precedence of the human species. So we had this attitude in Victorian eras where we were the superior version of humans. Like there's no one above us. So when we found evidence for bigger, stronger humans, there was some motives to try and cover that shit up. So I think that might be at the origin of some of these stories. Now, that attitude doesn't really exist anymore. So I'm like, who cares if we find giant bones? Like we'd add it in. We have Gigantopithecus. Like we've just added to our fossil species, in my opinion.
Sorry, how big are we talking?
Well,
what's Gigantopithecus?
Just like one of the previous hominids. It's like a Homo Gigantopithecus. It's like one of our
like
cousins.
Blackie?
In the
Neanderthal,
Homo series, like Homo species. Yeah, like a Neanderthal. But there's Gigantopithecus. And he was, 10 feet to like giant, massive walking monkeys like these things.
Oh, just a monkey that walked on.
Yeah, trying to get into this Blackie is like 3 meters tall. Yeah, like an ancestor. We'd probably add in a giant to like our species somehow. I don't think it'd be a huge deal, but there seems to be plenty of evidence for it. Put it that way.
What did you just say, Akash? What were you just asking?
How big were they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 9, 10 feet or 3 meters, something like that is I think, the realms of possibility. Some people go a lot further than that with some of the giant talk.
Now, are the giants the same as those like weird kind of like conic-shaped skulls you find on some of the
elongated skulls?
Yeah. Is that from the way that they're wrapped, or is that...
So there is some. So that is skull binding is the term. Is like get their babies and do skull binding. That is a thing that does happen, but that doesn't explain all the elongated skulls we've seen, because even with skull binding, you're not changing the volume of the brain. right? It's just squished into a different shape.
Yeah.
But we've found some examples of elongated skulls that have bigger brain pans, like bigger volumes of brain. So it's not a result of skull binding, of cranial binding.
Whoa.
So there does seem to be some other version of, you know, humans that could have been involved. I actually do think that, you know, it doesn't necessarily, if you go with the whole ancient civilization thing, it doesn't have to be Homo sapien. Like, I think we've found the Denisovan, like this is an emerging area of complexity for us now. There's all these other species of hominids that are coming out. You've the Denisovans, the Denisovans?
No.
So there's a whole new species that they've found, basically from a pinky bone, by the way. Not a lot more evidence for it than that, but there's a whole other subspecies of essentially human, you know, cousins or hominins, from the Denisova cave, that we don't know much about. And we know that, for example, the Neanderthals had bigger brains than us.
Yeah.
We don't know much about them. Like they're built like brick shithouses compared to us. They could have lived for much longer than us. They could have communicated in other methods. Like, I think if you go back far enough in time, it may not have just been us building stuff. Some of these other species could have been responsible too.
Wait, Neanderthals had bigger brains, were stronger, just better versions of us.
Yeah, pretty much.
How'd they die out? I thought we killed them.
Yeah, I think, well, that's the mainstream story.
I think fire was one of the things we had that was really effective. I read this in Sapiens, and obviously I forgot it.
Yeah.
And then also communication, and the tribe and the herd that we have. Through communication, and apparently gossip is something that really binds humans together.
Yeah.
Our language.
So we could organize a little better than the Neanderthals. Neanderthals were a little bit more ape-like.
Yeah, they didn't have the vocal box, like the construction. We don't think that they could talk. But we don't really know, and who knows if there was other methods of communication with other versions of these species. We don't know. But yeah, that's what they say. We hunted them out with group tactics, but I mean, you wouldn't take one of these dudes on one-on-one. I mean, it's, you know, bone densities like broomsticks to axe handles. Like they were on a scale in the same way like a chimpanzee, the powder weight is so much superior to us. That's what the Neanderthals were like compared to us as well. Like their muscle attachment points and their bone density and their geometry was far superior to ours. They'd rip your head right off if they wanted to.
So you think that the pyramids could have been built by what did you call them, a hominid?
Hominid, potentially some other hominid species. I think
a human ancestor.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about giant humans. I was like, could it just be Neanderthals? But I guess they're not that much taller.
Well, there's a few things. So the rumors of giants is a thing. Like you have a lot of that in parts of the UK. You get a lot of that in Native American legends and the mound builders and all of that.
And that's even biblical history, right?
Biblical history with giants. Yeah, Patagonia. There is.
What makes someone a giant? That's the thing. Like, so much could get lost in translation.
Potentially.
I mean,
it's a relative term. It's inherently relative.
Yeah.
Like someone being a giant just means like they're bigger than most people I see.
Yeah. Exactly. So if you're part of a tribe, everybody's around like 4.5 feet, and then you go to like the Sudan, you see somebody 6'6", you're like, these motherfuckers are giants.
Yeah.
Right? In the same way that like a Cyclops might have been some guy who got his eye fucking poked out, and all of a sudden these one-eyed people, yada, yada, yada. So yeah.
It is, they do describe it if you go, it's not just individuals either. It is actually like a group of people. Like they're described as a type of people in a lot of these myths and legends and stories and depictions. It is a bit, it's not, I understand you have individuals that are potentially giants, but they do describe it as
there are certain cultures that are just taller than others and certain that are shorter to this day.
Yeah,
so would we describe them as giants now?
Don't know.
Maybe not, but and obviously things are going to get exaggerated through time.
Sorry, this is not your giant theory, but I was going over your stuff, and you have an interesting theory on aliens.
Ah, okay. We want to go aliens. Well, I mean, I don't invoke aliens for any of the ancient civilization stuff, but I'm like pretty convinced. I mean, I think it's a mathematical certainty that other life exists in the universe.
But you said it was humans that have left the planet, correct?
Oh, you're
Did
on
I
this
say
one?
this? Is this on the Concrete Podcast?
Yeah.
It's possible. Well, there's some other people. It's an interesting theory. I wouldn't say it's my theory, but yeah, it is. It is possible. You analyze some of the historical accounts that there may have been an exodus, and some of this may have even been depicted in some of the Egyptian temples and in stories.